Slam. Just trying to pull the wave here and not letting that happen. DY with the disruption. Very appropriately named for that situation. Disrupts the pull.
I love how Tims was, while that was happening, he was trying to pull with the illusions on the camp, but he mispulled the set of Mind Stealer. So DY has been stacking everything else on the side, but he's been trying to stop the stack on the hard camp to pull to the top lane.
Oh, he's gonna let Tims do it this time, DY.
Interesting.
I wonder why.
He does have mana for a disruption, so he could easily stop it. And even if then he has a mango.
He might let him get it because he will get the bounty then. I don't know if that's gonna align.
Yeah, 20 more seconds. Especially the creep wave will be so far back, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if he gets the wave in the tower at 4:45, maybe they will not be ready to get bounty runes, but I still think they will. And he doesn't look like he's interested in contesting them anyway. Maybe they'll get 3.
Might contest bottom lane.
They could get 3.
Because you got Fade coming over, so yeah, Fade should be able to secure bottom lane, but Yang's in a lot of trouble. That's way too many stacks of Quill Spray. Really don't know if that's going to be worth both of the bounty runes, because they dragged off.
Worth it for Gabby.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And I don't know if Tide will be having a good time down here anymore.
They're going for Armel. They know Static Link is down. X Mark, Torrent up, DY is moving in. Tims thinks he can do a little bit more, but you've still got Fade who can pick him up, and with Destruction, throws him to the other side of the rock wall underneath the tier 1 tower. Tims can't help out anymore. In fact, he tried to keep chasing down. All he had was a totem. So a great rebuttal onto Armel. And my God, did VG need that? 19-1 to the 33-15. The level difference was, well, it was a full level before that happened. And now they efficiency shrine them back into lane. Smoke up from TNC. Of course, it's TNC. Lost a hero, what do? We attack.
Yeah, looking to make a quick move of their own. Looks like it's unlikely to be successful for now, unless, now it's very unlikely to be successful.
Yeah. Invis Rune Fade breaks it. There's no Sentry Wars, there's 2 obs on Tims, but they have no detection. So disruption will begin. Cuckoo's nearby, he's gonna find out there's a big stack just over on the side. So they're gonna help bring that down. In fact, Bristleback may just try and farm that while he try and farms up DY's life. DY doesn't have much more to give. Down very quickly, left an Observe Ward behind.
And Gabby gets the stack.
Yeah, that's a full triple stack as well. All of it prepared by DY. That's damaging to the VG economy.
Good cliff.
Oh, even better fissure. Tims wraps around the side of the torrent. Will create a little bit of extra space. DY's nearby too. Starts the disruption in TNC. With 3 heroes are fighting between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower at mid. But they may go again. There's still 120 damage stolen over on the Razor. Can't get in range to hit anyone though, but Gabby also ready to dive. They'll get rid of that ops. Vici feeling like TNC knew a little bit too much there. But they've left the side lanes alone. Yang has been farming up and pushing as well as Paparazzi. Just a little bit of space for the 1 and 3 of Vici. Fade.
Mid lane.
Yeah, they're really trying to go again on Armel, dropping down the ship. Is there a pickup? Is there a throwback? There's Fade having some issues. They'll disrupt to begin with. They could have thrown him down the hill, but decided against it.
I think he couldn't get the right range. He was very close to being possible, but I'm pretty sure he would have done that if he could.
Gabby's had such a huge injection of money. He just took an Ancient stack that was prepared. They're going to get another double stack up right now. And Garmel can help with the Plasma Field, and Gabby can just take the rest of it with calls. And this is going to bring about a very early hood.
Nothing like some good family farming.
Everybody together. Family affair. And same time you see an Urn now coming out in Rubik. Not deciding to go for the Arcane boost. In fact, you're seeing Fade, he's just directly rushing into the Spirit Vessel. There's nothing else that he's looking to complete.
Yang was just left alone to take a tier 1 tower bomb. At 8 minutes.
Trade-off was the stack, right? Ori.
Yep.
X marks Gabby, just trying to get him away from him. But Fade's going to die in mid lane.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's
And now the mid tower being pushed by TNC, and
Oh,
this is the
God.
bigger tower.
And Gabby's taking the stack while this is happening. They don't even have to commit their bristleback. He's taking the stacks from the side. Yang's trying to have his own little battle with Tim's. Ori, X marks his spots on cooldown for the moment, trying to go for a blind torrent. Tim's a little bit off target. If Yang really wants this, he can commit the Ravage. He may have to do so because Ori, the plasma field, Armel just moves over from the mid lane to find the kill, and Fade's got nothing more to give. Yang, he's got one charges. He's going to burn the Ravage, eclipse the bristleback on the back lines, but they really just want to kill off Armel. He's dealing all the damage out of Paparazzi, so he's hitting like kittens. Armel through the trees. He's still got 75 HP, but Paparazzi's got negative 150 damage. Kuku will create some space with the avalanche toss, and Yang will in fact die.
Huge for Armel that he just barely manages to get Static Link off before the Ravage connected. If he doesn't turn for that, 100% a kill for VG Gaming. But now they ended up losing their mid tower, their Ravage, and they're tied. So huge segment there from TNC, and maybe they'll even get 3 bounty runes. At least AU is trying to perhaps get some information here so he can get an additional rune, but looks like he is wisely backing away. Or is he?
Don't know. Probably feels he's okay.
Behind. Okay,
He's just taunting in the lane. That's all he has to do. Yeah, it'll be a 2-2 trade-off. I think Ty's trying to get his own money in now to try and complete up this Vlad's for his team. They need the aura. Hand of Midas is flying out as well on the courier. That one will be for Paparazzi. Gabby's going to have all the money in the world. He's now sitting at 5.3. This will move up even further with these 3 big Ancients to go down. So we're 10.5 minutes in, and he's cracked 5.6k net worth.
Yeah, he's super hot. And consider this was a 3rd pick Bristleback. They had ample opportunity to try to counterpick it, and they built their lineup, which hasn't been successful at countering him at all so far. They didn't really pressure him very much in lane. A little bit, but not too much.
Oh, toss in. We're already starting with the static link over on Paparazzi. He has to open wounds to try and outrun this. Gabby's moving over too. They'll try and slow him down. Ice Blast, well off target, but it won't matter if they can keep that chase going on Paparazzi. Difficult. And they will back off. All they want is the tier 1 tower anyway. And VG aren't in a position where they want to try and fight. Like right now they've got Rubik leeching some experience on bottom lane. He can TP up towards the top, and it looks like TNC will back off. The fortification has dissuaded their push. And they're actually going, okay, so you got the Vanguard. He's going Crimson instead on the Bristleback. And it's the Hood on the Razor. So they have Pipe as well as Crimson Guard from VG Gaming at a reasonable hour. Yang, space being created by DY. He's got Ravage off cooldown in 10 seconds time. Paparazzi thinking about coming in. That's a nice Ice Blast on the back. Until it hit absolutely nobody. Not so nice anymore.
Nice can also mean that it looks pretty, Toby.
It does. Beautiful.
And it was a very nice Ice Blast. But yeah, TNC didn't manage to connect on that one, but they still got some good damage on the top tower.
Rubik actually got the Ice Blast.
That is a big steal.
And look at Armel come over. It's like, guys, we're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill him. Plasma field through the trees, begins the TP, realizes there's no stuns nearby. Tiny, I mean ES, sorry, was looking for the fissure. Paparazzi really wants to finish off this top tier 1 tower. There's money going begging, and also just has to restrict the movement of TNC. Almost feels like it's time for another smoke from TNC. They're carrying one on the AA.
But they don't have a dead hero right now. That's when they smoke. It's when there's a dead guy to smoke as 4, get an amazing team fight out of it.
I'm getting the wrong, the logic train's the wrong way. You see the reason why the Spirit Vessel is just being totally rushed by Vade. They need to put that on Gabby every single fight.
Yep.
He cannot stand on the front lines. And what are you going to do? Like, do you even build like Silver Edge on Lifesteal or something along those lines? Like,
probably not.
Like how do you actually counter the Bristleback apart from stealing Ice Blast and getting a Spirit Vessel?
Well, if Shadow Demon could ever get an Axe, that's pretty much a hard counter.
That's the way you do it?
Yeah, it's a super hard counter, but he's a position 5. It needs to be a long game for DY to get. I'm sure in the back of his mind, he's like, if I can get this, we win this game like game against Bristol. But Bristol kind of probably doesn't want to play that game anyway. TNC don't want another 70-minute game here with their strategy, but you never know. It might get into that position once again. And then that would be the ideal solution, is Shadow Demon Axe.
Just got to push hard and fast.
And
VG Gaming really want to have a fight up on top lane. If Gabby hangs around just long enough to get in range of the X marks spot, which is what happens. CP support is coming in. They'll hit him with a ship, and we'll see just how much damage can be done. Ice Blast, it's flying in. Who's that one actually going to belong to? It belongs to the Radiant side. They've already killed off Gabby. Echo Slam will go. The Ravage doesn't clip Armel on the back lines, but Tim's Echo Slam is really ineffective. It's VG Gaming. They want to keep the chase going. The torrent, it doesn't slow down Armel. If it did, they would have been looking at a kill, not a tower.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Cuckoo's moving in through the side. They're trying to look with the poison of DY. The tower is low, but it's not within deny range. If VG Gaming will back up, happy with what they've achieved so far. Killing off the Bristol, slowing down his farm time. And getting all that money. Ori is the one who claimed the kill for 409.
Now I think they're going to lose the top tower, though. I think Lifesteal is being forced to TP out. They might TP Bristle up top if they want to. They might not have to do it even. He's kind of in between. He's TPing to the ancient area. They're going to flush them out, get the bounty runes, and get this top tower. No Ravage. Lifesteal TP'd away, and it's not defendable.
There'll still be a 2-2 bounty rune trade.
But TNC are the ones getting map control out of this.
And
They've taken 2 towers to the 1.
Love how DY is in the neighborhood and he's still stacking. Anything he can get.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So Fade's 500 gold. They're actually giving him the farm on the off lane and inside the jungle. Like, he's taking it from Paparazzi just to get that vitality booster. TP in towards mid. Coming a little late. Ori wasn't blocked in by the fissure of Tim's. So he's just waiting this out. With Cuckoo arriving. No blink dagger, but high movement speed. They can look towards the top lane. The tier 2 tower is being bodied right now. Gabby will try and tank up the creep wave. A lot of Quill Spray stacks up and running, but fortification delays them. But this is just buying time for Paparazzi to push bottom lane. He still wants to have the ratings before they fight again, and they need to have Ravage up and running, and that's on cooldown of Yang for another 30 seconds. TNC being careful, scanning inside the tree line. They don't want to get jumped, surprisingly. Oh, Tim's? No. They don't go on this. DY is nearby just in case they try and push him. That TP took a while.
That was a really good TP, though. He runs back up. He's running into the Tiny. He knows that Shaker doesn't have Echo, so he can't get in and get that instance done. Has to get the enchant off. And he does manage to get out. Well, that was a really awkward spot he got himself caught up in.
Yang wants to fight. They have the observed ward. They know that Armel's still nearby, so DY going to start with disruption. Purge is available. How much control have they got? Pick up, throw down, Ice Blast. It's going to connect over on 3 heroes, combining with the Avalanche with a Ravage from Yang. It'll create the space back again. Cuckoo, well, you'll have toss stolen, so throw him around, throw him in. There's that, well, run away. Gabby, he's now arriving. Fade, trying to get away from the cold feet. Gabby wants to focus down on him. They're still 2 dead for the moment, and it will be a very dead Rubik. Fade was worth quite a lot with all the space and farm he's managed to achieve.
Yeah, 440 gold for ML. That's pretty... It's not an even trade, but getting that exit kill definitely helps with the overall trade-off. And that was, of course, another Ravage fight. So now there's downtime. And this downtime will be used to pick up a Blink Dagger for Tim. So now things can get really interesting for TNC. They need to start fights with probably Cuckoo running it. Wait, does Cuckoo have less net worth than the Tiny? Oh, they have pretty much the exact same. I was like, wait, Tiny is not even close to Shaker's items, but
yeah,
it has some different items.
It's actually exactly the same net worth. Actually, 20 gold the difference.
Yep. So you want to set up the fight so that you can get a good Echo, ideally. Or you can lead with the Echo, but that's dangerous against both Ghost Ship and Disruption. So you probably lead the kill with Tiny or with Bristle, get a response, and then you can turn it around. You see they're forcing Roche right now.
Yep.
Bristle can tank it, he'll keep stacking up the goo, and if a team fight breaks out, Shaker has the dagger. They should know it though, he walked through a ward now, so they have ample time to flick him.
It's just a little early though for him. Oh, here comes your Avalanche. Toss comes, Ice Blast. They're going to avoid a VG Gaming. Up the hill and away, but a Blink Echo Slam connecting on 2 with a fissure onto 3. They'll buy some time for defensive disruption, and Arvel's caught on the wrong side of the rock wall. Dead for 44 seconds, but it won't matter when Gabby continues to stack up the Quill Spray stacks. He's going for Yang a little bit further up, while Fade has to battle against 3. He's almost up. They're just tossing everybody around. It's then Yori looking for the cleave. You can't get it though. Gabby's already got him with a fissure. Now he'll get it onto AU. But they want the bigger one. They want Tim's. He's the man to start this. And they're going to bring him down. Cuckoo's not done just yet. Ori, toss him up, try and get him onto the Radiant side. Gabby's moving in, and Ori knows he's dead. Gabby with a triple kill. He's still the invincible, but he wasn't there for most of that fight because he was fighting the Titan to keeping him away from the engagement. Keep in mind that Roshan is not dead yet, and Ravage is up in 10 seconds.
Yep. That was 2 support buybacks from TNC, but if they manage to get the Roche, it'll be all worth it. If they don't, however, and lose a fight, they could end up losing the map in a big way right now, being dewarded. BO3 Gaming are getting their heroes up and alive soon. This is a pretty slow Roche kill.
Really is.
Even with Solar Crest, this is taking them forever.
They've built up the stacks finally.
But
Tims will come in to help land the stuns. VG don't want anything to do with this. They're going to let it go.
And do you give this to Gabby or not? No, you give it to Armel. I think that's better too. Like Bristleback, Bristle with Aegis is like pretty much invincible, but then at the same time you have another core that's exposed, and then the call from the enemy team would just be, well, we're kiting Bristle and we're killing the Razor. Now, there's no good choice. You're not going to kill the Bristle first, that's very unlikely, and killing the Razor first is also not very good because of the Aegis of the Immortals, so the upcoming fight for BO3 Gaming is going to be really difficult, and maybe they're just not going to try to take one at all. Maybe they'll just farm. The nasal goo stacks. It's like the static link. I feel like the majority of Vichi's hardest games, win or lose, have actually been with Magnus this tournament. It really feels like, oh, bottom lane.
Have a crack. Disruption up. Gabby picked up, thrown down, purged. Having a hard time walking this off, but at the same time, Yang, what are you going to do? Is he going to commit the Ravage? Support is on the way. Paparazzi has arrived, but they've burnt most of what they had on the Bristleback. Keep in mind, there's no Spirit Vessel charges now on Fade. That item which he rushed up, they haven't been able to actually get kills with it, or he hasn't been around when kills have happened. So the charges are going begging.
Yeah, they're necessary. The healing block, the damage. Bristleback has super high max HP, so lots of damage coming out from the vessel usage. When he's high on health, it will hit hard. And I like this from TNC. They have a siege creep, they have Aegis, they have a fat Bristleback in the front. Let's go, let's take some towers. And BO3 Gaming will try to defend.
Yep.
As we talked about before, who is your target?
Fade's got good clearance. Lotus Orb is up, Radiance is up. Paparazzi will be the primary one. Sorry, Gabby, he's a little bit closer. Here comes your ship, turret combination with the boat. Armel moves forward a little bit and creates some space, but they don't get anything out of this. The ship down, there was no commitment. TNC will easily take the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, that looked like indecision from BO3. Like, the call was to go and somebody immediately counter-called that, like, we can't go. They end up just wasting away a ghost ship. 25 seconds on it now.
Once again, Fade trying to clean this up. Tims, Cuckoo looking to jump in through the side. They're going to get it. It's a nice Ravage over on 2. Actually, the spill damage. Bristle died so quickly.
What?
I am uncertain, but Armel, he's certainly dead. In behind the back lines, looking for his own kill. Disruption from DY, buy some time for Yang to move away. He wants to stick around for the extra gush. Maybe an anchor smash. You've got good damage from Cuckoo. And then the Fidger. They hold him there, but Armel can't go anywhere. He's trapped inside the rock wall. Cuckoo, he stopped his TP. The Creeper's going to chase him down. You've also got DY on the back of Tims. Does he see him? He does, but he doesn't have disruption. He can't kill him. He tries to pop him with the poison, but it won't work. Can we see that again? What was that?
I think Cuckoo got X marked, that's why his TP got cancelled, but he actually just ran away. So that didn't really matter very much.
What happened to the Bristle?
Yeah, he died real fast.
He has, like, he's got Solar Crest, Hood, Vanguard. All these things should spell life.
I know there is a Soul Catcher, of course, but there was no Vessel.
No Spirit Vessel.
Okay, let's see. So he's crested up. Ravage. Paparazzi's just nailing him from the front.
Okay, that's it. He just never turned.
Oh, Lifesteal. Well, he got ravaged with his front turn toward the Lifestealer, so he got in like 3 hits, 4 hits. Yeah, that's a quick kill. He's not tanky against that right now. Because, yeah, you've got the defensive Solar Crest on yourself, but then Tide puts an offensive one on you, and it's kind of negated. So Lifestealer is still dealing really good damage, even though he doesn't have any minus armor himself against the Bristle. And Gabby just overestimated himself.
Yeah.
For that. It was a cool play call from TNC, though. They had a max range fissure, they had the Ice Blast over the top, but Rubik got off all his 1 charges before he got Ice Blasted, stayed alive, and they easily cleaned up the Bristle and more.
It actually feels a little odd when you look at these engagements where TNC, like, As you said, like maybe they just underestimated how much damage VG could do. You throw out the Fiercer, it's like it's a Rorschach moment. I'm locked in here with them. Uh-oh. And Fade's not done yet. He wants to look for more. Farm up that Ether Lens, get himself something nice. Ori's able to snipe out the rune. Seems also a little harder to target him down now. Just wait for the right Lotus Orb timing. Not as easy for the Razor just to run in and get whoever he wants. Yang is approaching his Blink Dagger too.
That's a big item for Avicii. It allows them to set up a fight similar to the one from before, just that they can be the initiators. They can infest the Tide. He can Blink Ravage and Solar Crest the Bristle. They just go to work with anybody behind with a secondary stun. So similar to last game, there's no saves on TNC's lineup. This time there is one on the Vici Gaming side with the Shadow Demon.
It's like TNC are grouping up once more up on the top. They do have 2 smokes on the Ancient Apparition. So if they want to smoke into the VG jungle, they can do so. But you're already seeing the vision game trying to be played out by VG. Defensive Observer Ward to the north of their shrine, centering around all the access points into their jungle. But there's no wards down from TNC there. They have the Tinker Ward on the bottom lane, and they have a very defensive Obs inside their own jungle. And that's it. That's the vision. That's the vision report.
Radiant are scanning.
Laurie is really keeping the pressure on bottom. Some good farm for him. His recipe away from now completing up the BKB. As the Ether Lens that Rubik was farming up, now completed as well. And an Assault Cuirass is on the cards here for Paparazzi, and he's already got 2 of the biggest items for it.
AC's the big item, but they decided to smoke regardless, and Paparazzi actually broke the smoke to hit creeps, and now he's going to go into the jungle, so the smoke will only be Tide and Shadow Demon. I guess this is a little bit of a warding mission. Couldn't really find anything with this sentry. Maybe he's going to walk down and try to obs. Oh, he's going to use it here only, so pretty defensive. Maybe they were worried that TNC had a lot of heroes up here to go for this smoke, but if they were running into a lot of heroes, they would probably just die.
That's why you send the expendables.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah. Found that a little bit odd, but
That's another easy way to scout. I need a couple of copies, guys.
yep.
Let's send the Life Stealers to the mid. We'll burn down the wave. VG have done a really good job of just slowing this game down.
Yeah.
The advantage was going the way of TNC, but just over the last, like, 10 to 15 minutes, everything has been going VG's way. The experience actually tells the bigger story. About 7,500 in favor of VG. Just one pushing fight from TNC on the bottom, and VG just turned things around. They're really trying to be safe with Ori. Still got the hit.
Yeah, it's looking good for Vici Gaming right now. They're getting the BKB on Kunkka. It's a good lifestealer game like the panel talked about, with the exception of the Razor Drain. And they've kind of outlasted one of the worst parts of the game. If they precast Lotus on the lifestealer and he gets linked by Razor, it's just a net 0. So then he can just stay in the fight and hit. So TNC have to be very mindful of playing around this Lotus Orb and trying to get the initiation. They have BKBs of their own too. Bristleback 10 seconds, Razor 9 seconds. So lots of magic immunity to go around. And they're really important for both teams, these BKBs. You can't just waste them away.
This smoke won't last long enough to take a fight, but nice deep obs. But now VG, yeah, they smoke up as well. They've been looking towards the mid where Ori's been pushing it out with his X-Mark, hoping that TNC would actually jump him. I love how he doesn't have enough damage to actually take the creep wave out in one hit for a 28-minute Kunkka. Here comes Yang to drop down the ward. Up on the hillside. I'll leave a sentry behind as well.
I feel like I'm watching the same game as last game. They're just running past each other in smokes, placing wards, and then farming creeps.
It's like both teams just understand where they're going, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, okay, we'll take the objective on the other side. We're not going to take the fight.
It's a very natural way. It's the layout of the map makes it make sense to play like this, but
That's the Sorry, I thought Gabby was actually going to have a crack.
that would be a very bad idea, I think. He doesn't have the information. But during the group stage, we saw a lot more aggressive invasive maneuvers, in my opinion.
Oh, DY. He just saw the observe board that was planted on the Ancients. He understands they're right behind it, but the Tyrant, the ship, combo, tied under in the back lines. The BKBs, however, protecting TNC. The Ravage wasn't good enough. Same with the Fissure from Tibbs, keeping the back line of VG under control. Gabby now can start stacking up the quill sprays. They've already got the kill over on the SD. Everyone else is trying to get back out. Paparazzi needs a vessel. He needs to infest. Ori came in close to give him that, but now he'll lose his life as well. VG, they were asking for it. TNC, they gave it to him.
Perfect BKB usage. I think both of the cores completely avoided the Ravage.
They did.
And the Shadow Demon as the first kill is perfect for TNC. That's the save. That's the guy that can extend the fight so BKBs expire. And then they would be able to turn around. But this Tiny is working super well for TNC in both games. On 2 different players as well. Nice blast.
Yeah, it'll hit Fade.
So that's the tower.
Yeah.
And TNC's back in the lead.
That's all we need to do, right? It's like say, okay, so this game is starting to go the way of VG Gaming. So let's swing back the other way and let's have another look at this fight. So great initial stunts, but then BKBs on both Gabby and Arbel both get off before the Ravage of Young can connect.
And they get the Ice Blast onto the Tide. He has to run out of the fight, so he can't stay in help. And at this point, the fight is already lost, actually. So quick and easy for TNC, and they will get a Roshan.
Another Aegis and Immortal their way, and this one comes with a cheese too. So Bristle takes the Aegis, Armel will take the cheese.
So this time they're swapping it around. Or well, they didn't have a cheese last time. They're putting the Aegis on Bristle this time, because he was like, okay guys, I am mortal.
This Observer Ward's going to give him really good information to try and fight on bottom. So you can see TNC coming to the bottom, and well, no, okay, never mind. There's the curse kicking in again.
Yep.
Defensive vision now.
Right, AU wanted that creep, he got it.
The line's definitely been drawn by Gabby. Push, bottom lane. As far up as we can possibly go. Ravage is still down for another 21 seconds. Which probably means, like, with the creep wave coming, VG could try and fight.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Like, they have the AC completed. Fade's got 1 Spirit Vessel charge.
This fight is very difficult. You have to either bait BKBs and outblast, and then you can Ravage, or you have to blink and burst people. But you can't burst the Bristle, he has Aegis. The Razor is super hard too, because he has cheese, so you have to kill him from 100 to 0 in one go. You don't have any... I mean, you have the Vessel, but you can BKB cheese.
TNC quickly smoked, but they did it underneath the VG ward. So VG should be very much aware of this. Gabby, Armel, 8A. Why do I feel like almost that TP towards the top lane of Tiny with the smoke was almost a bait? They want someone to feel like they can come out and fight, and Paparazzi is that man.
Oh.
The Ice Blast. Oh, no! What?
He wanted... Okay, so Tim's wanted to 4-step Blink Echo, then he 4-step Echo. Maybe he had cooldown on Dagger, I didn't see it. But that tree is so dead. He echoed it real hard. It happens though.
That one right here.
It's not that big of a deal because VG Gaming aren't really in a position to make an aggressive move right now, so you can just chill and wait for the echo to come back up. If you take the fight right away, you still have Aegis for another minute. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun with it. It happens.
It's all okay, all right.
Yeah.
As
The cool thing was the play itself, where they smoke and TP the Tiny away and stay, like you pointed out. That was a really cool play. Paparazzi was not expecting that at all. But fortunately for him, a bit of a misplay from TNC in that instance to go for the kill.
very rare thing as well on Tim's ES. Like, he is a god on this hero. But
everybody makes mistakes.
that they do. I'm liking this atomization as well from VG Gaming. The 4-stars are starting to begin. Fade's got his picked up. Ether lenses for the support so they can hold back as far as they possibly can. And the push is coming in through the top. Gabby, he's manned the front lines. Quick early bash out from Paparazzi, but Prospect does have his back turned. The Blaster Field hits him pretty hard. He's actually pushed up too. What are you going to do here, Gabby? Apart from potentially break the Aegis Immortal, they won't even get that, or will they? X-Mark pulling back in. The Spirit Vessel taking away all this regeneration he wants. They 4-star him, so he dies mid-push.
The poison stacks killed him off.
Plasma Field's going to clip him. Open wins again. Paparazzi protected by the Lotus Orb of Ari, but the volley is beginning from Cuckoo. Aghanim Scepter is being completed.
That was a beautiful kill, though.
Radiant's bottom tower
It's
is
a
under
really good spellcasting, and I don't know if they couldn't force staff him earlier to get him out of there. They have 2 force staffs, but
He had his back turned.
yeah, it was almost like they were trying to bait it, but they didn't have Echo Slam, which it seemed like VG Gaming were aware of. I'm not sure they saw Shaker.
There was no vision of that.
I don't think they knew, actually. But yeah,
Actually, maybe someone attacked from this.
I don't think they saw him echo the ground. I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Hey, look, they changed the ward up this time around, TNC. And they put it on the hillside. They didn't put it over on the tree line. And VG Gaming put down their own sentry looking for it. Not going to find it. And that is the job now of DY. It's a very thankless job.
I think good plasma field scouted there from Fade.
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Nice.
That was, I don't know if that didn't seem intended. It's just farming a Kim.
It's
Sometimes you're allowed to get lucky.
unintentional awesomeness. But Fade really is just putting all his money into farm. I feel like he's taking so much farm on the map. He's got more net worth than the ES does at the moment. Which is kind of surprising considering the start you saw from Tim's, but he just had to create space for the rest of his team now. They're waiting for the 35-minute runes. Paparazzi is sent in. He'll rage up the torrent. Well, they're expecting Gabby to come in a little bit closer. With the Ravage committed, they're going to get through it. Gabby's down for 80 seconds. Tim's was stunned on the sideline too. Cuckoo creates a volley, space creation, backcourt deep. And VG don't want anything more. They got what they wanted. They got the Bounty Rune and the Bristol.
TNC have to be in better position with their force staffs. If they're going to send in Bristol as food, you got to be able to reposition your food so it doesn't, you know, expire.
That analogy is just, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very digestible.
Yes.
They're attacking in towards mid. There's the X mark. It's just Kunkka trying to get in nice and close. Cuckoo forced up. Nice push away from Tim's. Cuckoo was just able to turn himself around and get away. But that's the tier 1 tower drop. VG looking to amp up the pressure. Bristol back. The only reason why he's not buying back is one, he's short of money, so VG may feel like they could force it. Armel, oh, he canceled his TP! There was no Ravage, there was no stun! Now Armel is totally trapped in TNC! The cracks are beginning to show in the armor! A quick first bash as well from Paparazzi! Another second, why not? Down goes Armel, and once again TNC are fighting without one of their primary cores.
You're absolutely right. He was alive. There was nothing to stop that TP. Ravage was on cooldown. Kunkka was too far away.
It's like a, ah!
It happens.
Radiant's bottom
And now the tier 2 tower will go down as well for this.
This has been a couple of minutes with TNC making a couple of unforced errors, honestly. The Shaker missing the Echo and using it on the ground. The Bristleback getting killed on the Rune. And now the Razor just not running away. And
Yep.
these,
Not finishing his TP.
these mistakes have just... That's 5k gold.
Nice observer ward from TNC. Well, at least let them know where Ori's playing. The fact the tree was tossed might flag to Ori. The vision was there. Gabby is the man who has to be on the front lines defending the tower. Still trying to find that last bit of money to finish up the assault cure us. And they're going to start to need to have items because there's bigger ones coming in from VG. Paparazzi, he actually stopped at the Bracer and he's going in for a BKB next. So all the immunity in the world, the lifesteal is looking for it. Does he actually have, like, does he go with the +2 with the rage duration? Is just like immune forever almost at the beginning 10 seconds?
I think you take rage duration like in every game. Yeah. The other talent is, it's not bad. It's just not 2 seconds rage duration. So yeah, it's
like
really
plus
that simple.
+1%. Like maybe if it was like +2%.
The rage duration talent is super good.
Just to balance that, you can just see it
like
in the next patch. You're going to have it just so the 2s match up. 2-second rage, 2 feast percentage.
Imagine you gave a hero in the game a talent that said BKB duration +2 seconds as a 25 talent. How good that would be in a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
And that is even, you know, a much longer cooldown. Rage's cooldown is 18 seconds, so it goes from...
So you have 8 seconds and then you have 10-second BKB. So
10-second downtime.
So you're technically immune for 26 seconds the first fight with a BKB.
Yes, correct. If you layer it
perfectly.
Yep.
Sure.
That's a long time. Remember the old lifestealer from Dota 1? Who had Rage as his ulti that lasted 18 seconds with magic immunity? Then he had 2 passives. One was lifesteal and the other one was Orb of Venom.
I think I like the new lifestealer better.
That hero was really stupid. And then it got changed. and that was a good decision. Techies is up next.
Yeah, I'd like a rework on Techies to make him a little bit more viable than just being a meme. Like, there are a lot of things that make him viable. Blastoff is very well worked, but yeah, Mines definitely needs something. Put out the theory crafting, something better than what Slags and I can come up with. Yang's on the hunt. He's got Gemma True Sight, making sure there's no vision for TNC around Roshan. He's another 2 minutes away from spawn time. And they really feel like, okay, hey Gabby, I'm gonna hit you with Torrent. I don't see you. There's no vision up on the hill for him, but we'll play like there is. They feel the force.
Yeah, the next Roche has got to be where it's at. When's it spawning? 1:30. Both teams will not be leaving that area very much. Kunkka's going to go bottom to push out a little bit. He actually,
Jump,
okay.
find their opening. Over on Cuckoo. Pick him up and throw him back. The Ice Blast is on the way in. It will be able to connect over onto both Yang as well as Paparazzi. Yang still having to wait out these BKBs before the Ravage can be useful as the tree toss begins from Cuckoo, but these BKBs are wearing off TNC. They have to turn around because Yang's about to come in. He's looking for the Blink Ravage. They already go for their initial target. Gabby, he can't turn around. Where is this Ravage? Where is his control? Here it is. 4 heroes hit by it, but where's the follow-up? Ori's trying to do it all at the moment. X-Mux spot, Torrent, they still haven't killed off Gabby. And now they'll lose more. Ori forced after way. A little bit of space being created. Yang can't really help out. Fade wants to, and maybe he has enough with a quick little toss over. Ori so low on life. The Echo Slam has finally dropped down. Ori and Fade pushing up the daisies. Paparazzi about to join him as well. Maybe he can get our own. No, he can't. He can just die. No life stealer shenanigans this time around.
Godlike fight from Tims. Every fissure made every bit of a difference in that fight. He blocks them off on the initiation, he blocks them off during the Ravage, he blocks them off during the escape, and then he gets the Echo, which is just a measly one-hero Echo that barely matters because it's completely overshadowed by how wonderful those fissures were. That's the best play I've seen today. The way he played this fight was absolutely amazing.
Have I made up for my Echo Slam on bottom lane?
He just realized he doesn't need to use it. He's like, okay, well, if I don't mess up my Echo and I focus on my fissures, man, that was awesome. That was a super good fight.
Gabby is starting up on Roshan. This is the third one. Has a refresher shard, no Aghanims upgrade. But the fact that Armel also got through that entire fight, they still haven't used the cheese from the last Roshan.
Yeah.
So now they'll have a second one. Refresher shard, it goes to the Razor. You get cheese on the Earthshaker,
and we also need
cheese on the Tiny with the Aegis on the Bristle.
We need to remember how that fight broke out too. Kunkka was bottom, and they went for jumping on the Tiny, I think, when the first fissure saved him, and they have the 4 staffs. I think jumping the Tiny next to the tier 2 tower is just not a high value play, and not one that favors them at all. So,
and that anchor clap. Shady eardrums all you want. Torrent combination. Gabby saying a little bit too long. He's got a lot of poison stacks on him. They're going to perch him. They just want to break the Aegis Immortal once again, but the 4 staff over with the fissure wall, creating all the space in the world. TNC really on top of positioning, but they don't get up to the high ground. They did not force a buyback.
Oh, regen.
No, how nice.
Yep. When you have map control like this, you're likely to get runes. It's 40+ minutes, and now there's 2 runes every time. There's an Invis sitting bottom, not the most relevant rune for what TNC are trying to do right now.
Hey, look, Yang's going for the double ulti again. This time he might be able to actually farm up the refresher orb, but they're looking for 2 times the Ravage.
And this time it's huge compared to the last game, I would say. I mean, in theory, the 2 RPs would have been outstanding as well, but this will be much easier for him to use.
It just has to wait so long. Like, they still waited for the BKBs. They were 9-second duration BKBs in the last fight, actually 7 seconds for the Razor. But they are starting to get lower. That wait time and that immunity time is definitely going to drop, especially now the BKBs on Paparazzi. Like, he had that in the last fight too. We did see that long immunity duration. They're going to put it to the test. He's going to break the smoke over on Gabby. Fissure will connect. Is there something to help? DY wants to. Defensive disruption. Tims doesn't hit on the Echo Slam. Instantly they want to move away, but Purge actually, yep, is over on Gabby, but Tims creates more space. Volleying forward once again. Almost impossible to move through that volley.
Something Yang can do in the upcoming fight is he can blink and pump fake the Ravage to bait out BKBs. Then he can BKB himself, stay alive, and then get the Ravage in. They need to kite the BKBs, and similar for TNC, you can, or well, not similar, because I think kiting for you is way harder and not as impactful. The cooldown of Lifestealers, we've talked about this, how much uptime he has. It's hard to play around, and playing around Tide's BKB is probably not going to get you very far. So it's way more of a value play for Yang. And if he does get the refresher and he blink pump fakes 2 BKBs out, you better get out of there before he gets the Ravages, or you're going to lose multiple heroes very quickly. Alternatively, he can also just blink Ravage instantly, hope they don't react, maybe he catches some supports.
Really wants to get rid of that Radiant Observer Ward, but it's so dangerous to come close to the volley. Another quick tree toss, they'll send in their immunity Lifestealer to do it.
Kuko's damage is super high with the Ags Daedalus.
And the control that comes with the Echo Saber as well. It's just like 100% movement slow for 0.8 seconds. Well, the pressure is being applied through both bottom as well as mid. Yang does have the double Ravage, but do they have the opening? He jumps in for a quick anchor. Now, the tier 3 tower still getting beaten down. The Aegis Immortal from Gabby will last a little longer. Tims has Echo in 10 seconds. Looks like finally Ori is, actually, he's underneath Observer Ward. Avalanche has been thrown out. Kuku just trying to battle for the bounty runes. Goes for the quick volley. Support's coming in with the Ice Blast. Ori gonna stay inside of it as well. Just trying to walk all this off and then TP away to safety. Kuku, but nothing to stop him with, but look at Vici. Move out, look for their own target now that a lot of attention of TNC's been dragged top.
That was great from TNC though, they got 4 bounties. They do end up conceding some map control here by letting Vici come back in. Perhaps they could have avoided that if they just let Tiny do the job top and they stayed in this strong position down here. But they do get all 4 bounties. So, some good economical win. Oh, that's an Abyssal I'm hearing.
Yep, bottom lane. They're going in after Paparazzi. He's still got his BKB available as well. That rage is lasting forever, but so is Armel's damage deal. 280 taken out of it. A push away from Kuku. Now the Ravage will pop a 4-star. They're going to X-mark and pull him back in again. All that extra life that he gained. Where's your refresher in second time? It ain't going to happen, or maybe they just stick on top of him. That'll be the way to bring down the Tiny. Buyback comes in from the Rubik. Get a lot of money. Now they look to the Ancient Apparition. Another Torrent. Pulls him back in once more. Ancient Apparition to fall. Disruption. It is allowed to go to the next target, but there's your refresher. Armel, BKB, and put off the Storm. They're looking for their own damage output, and the stun from ES, it stops Yang from getting the instant Ravage off, and in fact he doesn't even have the mana for it anyway. They're just going to have to hold in Armel. Yang with the BKB wants to keep on fighting, but now the volley will arrive. They have to start retreating. BG Gaming back on the shrine. This thing's still up. They're going to regenerate up almost everything they lost, and Gabby's going to try and bite into them. They've got to be careful. Ravage is still available. He can blink forward and just go for it. Bristle back. He gets clipped up, and also the stun's on the sideline. Bristle's down for 100 seconds. Ancient Apparition will also go down, but they pull back the bigger one. They pull back Kuku. They need to get rid of all that damage output that he has. They're gonna do so. Ice Blast comes too late. TNC, 2 heroes without buyback, and BG Gaming, like sharks, they smell blood in the water, and they're hunting. Yang, taunt chasing Armel up through the top lane. He's wasting time, however. BG need to push the lane.
This is a huge kill though to get.
Oh, with a gush. He's still got Static Link available. There's no stun. There's no way he can actually cancel the TP. That's the goal right now. Kunker's coming over. He'll BKB TP away to safety. Safety for Armel.
And in the meantime, Lifestealer and Rubik are still mid. So they pushed out that wave and they're going to try to go high ground. Good Fissure is going to buy some good time here.
Still a big creep wave pushing in through the top lane too, and Ancient Apparition is forced in the bottom. So while Paparazzi is going to be knocking on the door, taking anything more than a tier 3 tower may be problematic, because they'll look for a trade-off. Here comes your Ice Blast flying in, catching everyone a long distance, but Razor so low on life. The Lotus will try to protect it, but it won't happen. Fade just volleys him down. But now what do they get? They're going to buy back out from a Razor, but there's problems on the bottom lane and top. The Catapult double waves really did a hell of a lot of damage.
Yep, AO may have just saved a potential lane of Rax there with this bottom push that he was doing with AA.
Tims, this is a solo kill. Jumps out, Can grab the double damage room. Fissure, maybe he doesn't even need it. Echo slams, a quick four-star. DY, the Yule Scepter. He went up in the air and now Disruption. He'll go two different ways. The Ice Blast flies right over the top. DY needs to kill off the illusions. Won't help. Gabby will find him. True Sight has been dropped. Still a 1-for-1 trade-off as they keep on battling. Maybe with the turret. Where's your boat? It's off cooldown, but they don't want to do it. The BKB's protecting TNC for the moment, but they're such low durations. The TNC know they need to back off once more.
And Tim's used buyback. So did Shadow Demon actually, so never mind. But Tim's is way more valuable. He's much richer. His buyback cost, I think it was, let's see, 1,200 to the 500 of Shadow Demon. So that's about another 1,000 gold before the gold loss itself.
And the fact that VG were able to get there in time means they also recovered the Gem of True Sight, so there's none of that value lost either. Very problematic for the support to try and survive.
And you're going to get your Silver Edge, it looks like.
It is.
It will happen.
So we have Silver Edge for the Conquer. The Daedalus, there is enough money for Paparazzi to buy that right now. His surplus is 200 short of buyback.
Yep.
I also love how Fade's been working his way towards this scythe for such a long time. He's like, I'm fine. I got this. No matter what, I got this. Now smoke up from VG.
They have 2 Ravages, and there's Bounty Rune spawning. This is pretty much the perfect timing.
And there's no Echo.
Oh, this would be a great
Ancient
start for them.
Apparition. He is going to go down quickly. Deb for a minute and a half.
It might seem like a small kill, but he has no buyback and dropped the gem.
And Roshan spawns in 10.
Yep.
That's the bigger part. If VG Gaming see this without the Ancient Apparition blast, like, can you take this?
That fight, I think, is next to impossible for TNC, even with a good Echo. Unless VG line up for them to land the perfect combo, it's going to be tough.
Oh, stolen volley. That's one Fade never wants to give away. He's going to go through almost the full duration of the steal for it.
It's a pretty pitiful tree volley compared
to the real Tiny.
To the real one, yeah.
Oh, Roshan's alive and VG know it.
It's a big boy. He's got all the items. This is Rosh number 4.
Where's your Aghanims upgrade this time around? Do you actually even give it to the SD so we can keep purging up?
I think giving it to
Bristle?
SD is really good. It applies break when you have Aghs. That's why it's the hardest counter to Bristle. Maybe in the whole game. I think Shadow Demon Aghs has got to be one of the absolute highest on the list. But are they seriously not giving him the Aghs?
Who are they giving it to?
5 Stealer?
Wait, what? He's going to assimilate now?
That's like the worst Aghs in the game.
Maybe it was a misclick.
I mean, maybe they just wanted to pick up everything in case TNC was coming, but I can't.
It's like, so what was
even your 3?
Swallow? Yeah, who do you swallow? You don't take in Kunkka. You can jump in with Tide Hunter, but Tide's the one doing the jump anyway.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, DY definitely looked a hell of a lot better.
It's amazing. It is so good this game. And he even has items to get them off reliably with both Lens and Force Staff.
Maybe they're just worried he's so low, but even then you could take the Rubik.
They could have given it to Rubik.
Rubik would have been great.
They could have given it to Tide, so they have AoE got. I mean, there's no way. No way.
This makes no sense, but hey.
It's what we got.
That is the decision of the teams.
VG are still in a great position, so
I love how we get,
for them,
we get to watch him again. It's like, guys, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. It wasn't meant for me.
It's like, okay, man, you want the Aghs? Swallow the next fight, then do it. Yeah.
It's like watching TNC. Like it was the major where they're just fissure blocking each other out. And just playing around the ruins. Hey guys, let's have a little bit of fun. It's going to remind you, VG Gaming, you're currently 1 game down in the series.
Yep.
A loss here drops you to the lower bracket where then every game is elimination to get to that grand final.
They're probably feeling really good about their position in this game, though, as they should. They're in a great position. Tide has 3 Ravages, but he doesn't have much mana, though.
Can he even get 3 Ravages off?
No. Unless they mana boot him or something. Do they have
you don't have any, like, there's no arcane boots on the SD. There's no arcane boots on the Ruby. They both put their items into the Ether Lens.
They probably aren't planning to use 3 Ravages in the same fight anyway. I think it's a mistake, though, to have the Refresher Orb instead of the Shard in his inventory.
Yeah.
You know, the Shard is free.
The 375 mana for Refresher Orb.
You get some regen for now from having the Orb, but absolutely swap in the Shard when you're trying to go high ground, just for safety's sake.
Oh, here's your move in. Bristle back on the front lines. Paparazzi gonna rage. There's a quick Abyssal Blade from Gabby. Trying to control up Paparazzi. They'll pick him up. They'll drag him back over with... Actually, no, they won't. Just leave him under the torrent. The best front liner they could have asked for. A Bristleback with his back turned and no 3 purges to worry about.
Yep. How fortunate. Oh, that's a good fissure, but
yeah, it's going to lock
on
number
the other
on
side.
Remember, he's got the Aegis, the Immortal. He just wants to get back out again. Now they can start taking out the shrines. As Red Eye feared, this is VG Gaming. We take an objective, we move back, and we take a safer objective now. Be it farm, be it shrines.
I do not blame them for a moment for doing that.
Neither do I. You see the advantage.
Considering what happened last game too, they were in good position 2 or 3 times, and they just ran up to different high grounds and lost fights. Like, there's no need for them to do that currently.
You just have a chat with the coach at the back. It's like, okay guys, let's not go high ground until we're good to win the fight.
It's entirely possible that that's what RTK told them after the game. It's like, you have 10 minutes between these games. You don't have time to sit down and go through details in the replay. You get 1 or 2 key points across to the team that they need to work on for the next game. And honestly, I think one of them should have been, okay guys, in the next game, don't force fights in bad positions. That's #1 thing you don't want to do.
Okay, we have the mana now for Tidehunter to commit the Ravages. He's got Nocturine Core.
Oh, he was hovering at Daedalus.
Jump up, Fade, looking for a target. Remember, he's got that side defiance as well. The Ravage is going to burn straight away. Tiny, it even clipped the Ancient Apparition in the back lines. Tiny does not have buyback available. VG have an opportunity, but the BKB is down for Kunkka.
He refreshed on Tide. Refresh #1.
Okay. Now he switches to refresh a shard in.
Now he has another 2 Ravages.
Yep. A Paparazzi, again being that front liner, making the most of his immunity time. Mel and Gabby clean up the way pretty nicely. Another X mark. That one's over on Ori. He's not even coming close. This is like, just in case something really weird happens. That's probably going to be on Paparazzi.
Lotused.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, he X'd the bristle with Lotus on. It looks pretty funky when.
Yeah, it does. It's like, that's not intentional.
All right, that's a half-decent static link. Not too great, though.
Still a 53-second window.
So is there anything coming up for TNC now that's going to turn the tides of this game?
They don't have Satanic yet.
There's no big item coming.
Tims is waiting for the right opportunity. He's moving around the side. That's a good Echo Slam opportunity, but they just lost the creep wave. A 4-star gets pushed back underneath the Tier 4 towers. The fissure is a fantastic block. Rage now up here from Live Sealer with the BKB. With the BKB speaking to by TNC, they're waiting it out. The Ravage is ready in 2, 1. BKBs are out, and the Ravage goes #1. Yang, is it time for a second? Maybe it's not. The Aegis Immortal has been burned. VG take the racks. They're just going to reset.
They used 3 Ravages, and all they got was this shitty T-shirt. Now they got 1 melee Rax.
They're coming back. Another pickup. The X-Mark's going to bring the Tidehunter back to front lines with the Torrent. Razor, 4-star forward. Blursorb didn't protect him enough, and now Paparazzi feels like he can just go in. If he can get a bash, they've got the Hex from range. It's from the Rubik. Razor's down for 2 minutes. VG Gaming, what do you want now? Okay. Bottom lane or more?
Now it's a better T-shirt. Yeah.
I've upgraded. I've got the Mahjong set now.
Kunkka's going to defend easily with X-Mark. He comes back to mid. They're grouped up. There's no Ravages available right now. 60 seconds for 2 Ravages for Yang.
I love this. They actually TP Tims out so he can pick up the bounty runes. So Razor actually had buyback. He needed to go and get that money, or else they wouldn't be able to have him for this fight. And then he'll come around the back. Echo Slam is available. VG may not be looking for it. The badge is already over on Tani. They forced off him away. BKB will protective. Now Tims, if you're gonna go, you're gonna go. 3 together. Lock him down. From heaven, the shadow arrives, but Lifestealer still gets the BKB off. He's been beaten down by Gabby with all that big damage. Cuckoo will get the jump in as well. Yang will fall. The damage is huge with the anchor smash back again, but they just chase for more. A long toss up towards Fade.
Oh my
Freeze, and she just crit the crap out of him.
That 3 volley. Did he just get 3 crits in a row?
He did.
Oh, it's pretty absurd.
Man, what a play by Tims, understanding the game and then getting the great position. He knew he was okay because the Obs and Sentries were on top of the hillside, so he knew that VG had no information.
And you have to take these risks. When your back's against the wall and you're this far behind, you got to do something crazy, and it worked out. Ice Blast was crucial there.
You've still lost a lane of racks as well as a Tier 3 tower on bottom. This is still the small crippling part.
It's not great, but it's better than the alternative, which was Game 3 right now. More than likely.
Well, the alternative is still potentially there. It was a 30 grand advantage because the bounty rune just got picked up by TNC. It swings back up another 5. The experience is probably telling a closer game, however. Only 9,000 the lead. And TNC, they'll smoke up. They want to force some buybacks.
Yep. How many are they going to get?
Actually, he went 2 charges of disruption on
Yeah.
SD.
Yes.
I was wondering if he would think about the purge damage against Gabby, but he's going to Agon himself, so maybe not. There's disruption number 1. That bottom rack's getting brought down quickly. Ship is comboing it nicely. 4 stuff up on the Bristleback, still protected by that Lotus Orb. Kunkka pulled back by his own X-Mark. Double Daedalus looking to try and get some level of damage in, but TNC just did a hit and run. But they didn't force the buybacks out for VG Gaming. Well, only the one on the Rubik.
Still a great grab, though. They got a lane of racks out of that?
Yep.
We'll take that. Oh, Rubik.
Big up. 4 staff away, and Cuckoo. Oh, no, Fade. He doesn't want it. Actually, he wants to steal it, but a great Fissure once again, creating space. Tiny BKBs. This is such a low duration time. They may try and continue the chase. In fact, they do. Here they saw him just at the last moment. Move up the hill. It won't last long enough. The bash is there for Paparazzi with the Abyssal Blade. Tiny will fall, so you did get a buyback, but now you're down a player, and Roshan will respawn in 40 seconds time. Tiny will have to buy back if TNC want to try and control it.
Yeah, he needs a way to connect to the fight, though. He can't afford Boots of Travel and buyback, and he has no shrine to TP on, so even a buyback is a really long connection timer.
They're coming. Silver Edge up from Kunkka, walks in, close range, ravaged up pop, Razor, Armel had no time to react with a double ravage. They keep Gabby out, and they caught both Tims and AU up on the high ground. Is someone going to force up? He's going to force up. He'll get himself away with the Glimmer Cape. X marks the spots over on Bristleback. Is there another follow-through? Silver Edge is coming off cooldown right now. Hit him, break him, break him. Maybe with a volley. Ice Blast coming back, Bristleback's low on life, Yankee Smash able to help get the kill. 2 heroes down from TNC, FVG Gaming, screw Roshan, go for the win. Those 2 big cores down, there won't be a buyback, there won't be a way to actually stop this. They're going for bottom racks. What are you going for? They're waiting. They're regenning up and then they'll come forward. They don't have a Ravage, it's the only thing to be cautious about, but TNC, with no buyback, VG will be aware of this because they are on cooldown. Now, Tim, Cuckoo, jumping in, able to get the first little avalanche and hit off, but Dispensive Destruction from DY creates extra space. Abyssal Blade, Sentry Wards are everywhere. Tims hits the back line with the Echo Slam. He needs to get the damage going, combining with the Ice Blast. 3 heroes be hit by it. Rubik and DY, they'll end up shattering through this, but 3 heroes down. All the damage, all of it's gone from TNC. This is the win for VG Gaming. They will come through, they will claim more, and they will claim a deciding game against TNC, who have fought absolutely valiantly to get to this point. The paparazzi will end it. GG is called. 2 games over an hour. This is becoming the marathon. The VG probably never thought they'd have to run.
These games are really close. These teams are super evenly matched, and it comes down to, you know, Dota is always about mistakes and big plays, right? And it feels like in both of these games, these teams are, there's some uncharacteristic mistakes that can be, you can write it out off as nerves or whatever you want, but, you know, for example, Gabby being the super strong Bristleback feels like immortal, runs into tier 2, gets killed. There's other opportunities in this game where Yang on the Tidehunter maybe whiffs the Ravage. Yeah, but there's so much to talk about in this game.
Hey, you know what? We've got some people for this. It's their job, so we'll let them have their job.
One, I didn't think it was going to come to this. VG Gaming were looking scared. And I didn't really think that they would be able to manage to close out the game, but they did. But Grant, you weren't convinced by that victory yet.
It felt they were extremely scared. The late game, they had 3 Tide ultis the whole time. They were so scared to push, and I mean, you don't want it, right? It's a Tim's Earthshaker, it's an AA. We saw, like, those 2 heroes can just wipe off, like, any hero off the face of the map, but they get these weird pickups, like they just find our Mel middle, and then finally, it's pretty easy to end.
And it was established by some early game issues, like you were saying, Gunnar.
Yeah, there was a gank bot on the Lifestealer. 4 heroes of TNC kind of smoked bot, and then they fissure him, and then he didn't blink. He just echoed the ground. I think that was the big turning point. Before that, Gabby was really strong on the Bristle, and they had stacked for him. They controlled the earlier game. They had this good strat around the Bristle. But I think after that, their snowball they lost control of the map. VG started kind of feeling comfortable about playing around the map. they weren't scared about Echo, and I don't know. I think the game kind of fell out of control.
Yeah, I think it's like the BKBs, right? Like once the Bristleback has to like fully commit to a hero, he's chasing after someone else while they're trying to hold anyone, and they just can't get anyone because the Bristle's on this side of the map and there's 4 other heroes fighting like the rest of Vici, and it just felt like Vici did have very good positioning in that game, all things aside.
Well, we'll wrap it up here, but we're not wrapping up this series. We still got one more game, and I'm sure Red Eye and his boys have some thoughts of their own.
Yeah, I'm sure we do. I mean, gents, another long game. And TNC seem to kind of like these long games, Dendy. They do well most of the time in these long games.
They feel like fish in the water
Yeah.
in the long games.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, and Vici also. They also playing some long games in this tournament, and they also feel pretty confident. And that's why I see this 1-1 score, and it's not surprising me at all.
No, it's great for us as well as neutral cap. We always want the best of 3 to go all the way. And I mean, I think Toby said in the exit of that, they're just so closely matched. There's nothing between them.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
In terms of both good play and some mistakes as well. We also Syndrome made
Yes.
the point, didn't he, during the commentary? Dota is a game full of mistakes. You can't play at that high level perfectly all the way through for a 60-minute game. So the capitalization of those mistakes is also interesting.
Toby called it a marathon in his closing statement, and I think that really applies to this series, is that endurance, it's going to wear on you. There are going to be some slip-ups, and we saw some slip-ups on both sides. You know, our drafting panel talked about the fact that Vici Gaming almost looked a little scared, considering what a big advantage they had with, like, the Tidehunter. They were pretty cautious, and I could see how some of that lost them maybe some fights that they didn't need to, or they could have capitalized further, but also some of it saved them. Just think about the way they played that 5-man and they all backed up into their shrine, or 5 minutes later they had another fight in the same area. What did they do? Go to the high ground, drop a ward immediately. I love that idea that Vici Gaming has against TNC. Let TNC crash into you.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily
do it
be
at some point,
eating
right?
for those fights.
Yeah, because they're going to do it at some point. We'll take a look at the scoreboard as well. Fog, in many ways, the longer it went on, the more confident I got for TNC in some ways. But it, again, didn't pan out this time. Why? Explain to the viewer that doesn't watch a lot of Dota why it didn't work out the same as the first game.
Well, for this one, in this one at least, some of the times for TNC they've surprised me, but in this one I looked at their draft and they were much more mid-gamey. If they started to lose an advantage in this game, I think that their draft, just based off the heroes that they have, just hit a brick wall. They have a Bristleback and a Razor, which, yeah, these heroes, they can dish out a lot of damage if they're ahead, but once you start losing that advantage, a hero like Shadow Demon is going to start really crippling your lineup. That Soul Catcher, we saw it coming out, just brings the Bristle to half HP every single time, so it just changes the whole outcome of what your idea of what the game could actually be.
Did you invent a word in there?
Lockdown.
Mid-gamey.
Mid-gamey?
Is that one word, or?
I'm down with it.
I think
Mid-gamey.
It feels kind of weird.
No, I like the fact you...
ever heard of mid-gamey before?
I like it.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
You know, it's like, you know, like how food can be a little gamey, right?
Huh?
Yeah. It's like chewy, right?
That's exactly
Mid-game.
what I was going for.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but I love the fact that he pulled out the Shadow Demon, because that was something that I noticed in the early game, right? This Bristleback had all this farm, and normally in that situation, you're like, God, this Bristleback is actually going to be unkillable. But they had the answer to it. Shadow Demon is easily one of the best counters to Bristleback.
And they even... Lifestealer took the Aghanims from the Roche.
Yeah.
That definitely was supposed to go to DY for the break.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, they definitely had the tools going into the later game. I think that's maybe why we saw a little bit of backing up coming out from Vici, because looking at their draft, if you get to that later stages, you're going to have these ways to address that Bristle.
But maybe it was a strategy where
Maybe it
Lifestealer
was.
eats a Rubik and gets into Tidehunter. They jump in and hello!
Surprise!
We hope.
Yeah, maybe. All right, good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Do you know what? I've been mystified this season. We've seen Vici Gaming rise from the ashes of finishing second all the time, but they found the winning formula. But what is that formula? Let's find out.
你们能不能学学周海啊？现在就他知道怎么打。虽然他在劣势路送很多次，但是其实都是在帮大家拉扯空间。
皮鞋死6个月了。
Make yourself known. We are gonna have Game 5 of a Grand Finals here.
我不知道他是怎么发生的，人刚一选完，回头看他就已经不动了呀，突然就不动了。其实没什么影响，我们还是赢了。最难的就是要不被RTK 发现啊！ 我们需要想很多办法，因为他一旦发现了，肯定想要来踢掉皮鞋来跟我们一起打了。我们宁愿跟死的皮鞋打，也绝不跟 LTK 打。
我知道，其实皮鞋根本就没有死，就是我让他装死的。让他装死呢，其实就是为了我们这个团队能更上一层楼。杨神对于这个团队功不可没，通过他装死这件事情，就可以证明他是这个队伍的顶梁柱。Nice， 兄弟们，10分钟后加油！
我实在是带不动这菜逼了。
肯定还有别的办法呀。
今年 TI 大不同，最终 VG 会举起冠军队。为什么我会这么有自信呢？因为其他队都没有我们队这样的死皮鞋战术。
Amazing, absolutely.
That was one of my favorite ones we've ever had, I think.
It broke all of us at some point. I've actually got tears in the corner of my eye. I couldn't. As soon as I saw Aritico, I said to Denny, I know this is fake. I know, but it feels like it could be real. Like the way he was reacting at the start. I'm very scared of Aritico.
Oh, yeah.
Very scared. But what a fun piece.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. I like how they're all just like, yeah, we don't want to play with ROTK again.
I'd rather play with Dead Yang than ROTK. Please don't bring him back.
That was good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. The memes.
Oh, yeah.
Chinese memes.
I mean, it just started
They're the
off
best
right away
memes.
with him saying, Yang's not dead all the time. He's just been creating space for you. It's not feeding. It's
It was a strategy.
Yeah.
It's a strategy we came up with. We should look forward to game number 3. Dendy, game 3. Yay!
Yeah. Let's
Love game 3s. Especially when it's a couple of teams who are very closely matched like this. There's nothing between them, is there?
Interesting. I'm not sure who's gonna win. I'm still thinking it might be Vici.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the favourites, Cap. Let's be honest. Yeah, I know TNC have done really well and exceeded expectations in many respects in making the upper bracket because many people thought they would end up in the lower. But they're not far away. This is, regardless of the result now, I think they all get confidence from this, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they've had 2 very close games against Vici Gaming, who are one of the favorites of this tournament. And you're in this situation where it has been quite the marathon. It's been quite the endurance test. If you're TNC, you've got something special about you that just always fires you up when it comes to these close matches. You want to be able to take down the big giants of Dota. They've done so before with some of these players. And I almost want to change over and say that TNC is going to win this series just based off of, just little things about it. Like just the fact that they're still willing to go for it so many times. You know, maybe Gabby lost them the game with his idea that he was so strong at going for it, but I still appreciate that point of view, just being able to play more free Dota.
Yeah, and Dendy, you made the point, didn't you? We were talking about it downstairs. They don't care. SCA, they're like, we've got 3 dead. Yeah, let's just go in on them.
Yeah, and that's amazing about them. Also, I like what I see from TNC with 4-core strat. I mean, that's really cool. That's something interesting. I see that teams and Kukuwe always have almost same network. Sometimes teams even go further as position 4.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. It's something new. We don't see that much out here, and it's working for them. So it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, saw that in game 1, didn't we, with the Tiny?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
transition into a core.
We tend to see that a lot when he's playing, when I see Kuku playing in particular, like I mentioned, the Bat Rider and that Sanking. He actually backs himself up a little bit, and he's like, yo, Tim, so you're going to be playing a little bit more of that 3 role. This game, he was playing the Tiny in this one around, so he was prioritizing himself a bit more for him. So you can see that Tim's kind of trickled down a little bit on that one, where I think I always just like seeing Kuku playing these ones where he's not taking that much space on the map and just let Tim's kind of take over that 3 role. So maybe slight adjustment for them there.
I don't know about you guys, but I find Tiny terrifying right now. Like everything he's able to do from a support and then the way he scales into late game, there's just seems to be very little this hero can't do, right? It can solo kill heroes. It can actually deal with cores. It can get them out of position. It can save your allies with these great tosses.
It's a sieger. I think that's one thing that people forget too. You actually can hit buildings. You turn around, you've got like 3 tree grabs on the tower, and it's chunked down to half HP or more. So.
Players are coming back out into the arena for game number 3. A game where perhaps Vici weren't expecting to have to play. And as Toby One has already said, this is a marathon. not a sprint, and they are getting themselves back to their booths. They'll get ready and set for draft number 3. And TNC are pushing Vici Gaming all the way. Remember, this is one of the very best teams of the year. I know they might not have been on your radar if you don't follow Dota that often. Maybe you tune in once a year to TI and you're looking at them thinking, I don't really know who these guys are. Well, these guys have been fantastic through 2019. They've won 2 majors. They've been competitive in everything they've played in. You can never count them out. On paper, Kat, before we came here, if we'd said the upper bracket's going to be TNC versus Vici, everyone, to a man, we'd have all gone, Vici will win that.
Yeah, I definitely think so. But a lot of these TNC players are stepping up. I think that one of the biggest names coming out of this series and a lot of the group stage has been Armel. The story of him in Southeast Asia was always the fact that like it was a little bit hard for him to find a team initially. He was hard to work with, but everyone, no matter how you felt about him personally, respected. They said he was super skilled. And he finally shows up on TNC, and I think that this year has really been a showing of just consistent, strong performances, right? There are very few games where I look at it and I'm like, oh, Armel lost them the game. No, more often than not, it's going to be him carrying them the game.
Yeah, and you pointed out, haven't you? I mean, good old support bros, we have to stick together. You pointed out they've got a couple of great supports in this team as well.
They do, on both sides. Got to be looking at both sides. I mean, we saw what they were able to do even with like Fade in that game as of Rubik, and then on TNC also, whenever they're playing AU's playing something at Chen. Like, there's just so many different varieties. I mean, Dota's just gotten to the point where everybody has a more impactful role, and that's what makes it so much better to watch. Because back in the day, you see a support, and you're like, how's this guy? The game's going late. The hell is this Rubik gonna do? He doesn't do anything. Now you have all these like plethora of spells and combinations, talents. Makes the game so much more exciting.
It does. And then you pointed out that it's a much more flexible game now. Because you can have that 4 can suddenly become a core at 30, 40 minutes whenever it wants to. And even Secret, they move stuff around all over the place. Like their 3 becomes a 4, sometimes their 5's farming. They don't really follow the classic rules of Dota. It makes it much more interesting.
It's up to teams how do you split the entire farm on map. And if you watch, for example, IE bots, they split between 5, yes? And then some have greedier positions.
I don't know if that works all the time for the AI, but yeah.
I mean, so it's up for teams, and when we see some special, for example, splitting of farm on TNC side, and it's really cool. It's interesting. It's like it's more space for creativity. It's more space for finding out something new and fun, and exciting. So.
Yeah. And that's what's awesome about both these teams, right? Is that they are both young, and we've seen from interviews on both sides that that youth and all the fresh ideas that they bring to the table, that's what they say is their greatest strength. Vici Gaming just had an interview where they were talking about the fact that they were willing to work around each other and go for these new ideas. And then you've got the old dog in ROTK who's going to, still solidify the basics of Dota and what remains to be true. But all these other guys and the players, they're down for these new, fresh ideas. They even tried Core IO.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much, gents. It is time to get into game number 3.
Virtus.
That's right, Red Eye. We are going now into Game 3. And now, before we go into the draft, though, I wanted to ask a question. Dendy had mentioned something about how TNC are playing 4 cores, basically. And to me, that's a marked difference from the Raven era TNC, where it was usually like, give him a Terrorblade, give him a Spectre.
He was the man.
He was the man, the myth. And I'm surprised that a TNC like this, maybe it's because of Heen's influence, but Gunnar, they've been able to transition into this pretty smoothly. Is it because the meta encourages a 4-core kind of thing, or is it just a stylistic choice?
The meta kind of encourages it right now with the new Axe changes, new Roche changes, talent changes as well for supports have made them a lot stronger than they used to be. Like, a couple patches ago, like TB was like broken. You just farm the whole map, and now the map's a lot harder to farm as a core, like by yourself, and get the highest net worth in the game. So a lot more teams are having a lot more greedier 3s and greedier 4s, and they play more as a team, and they play it as a team game, not as a
Just win me the game. Win me the game.
It's just, we'll make space for you.
There's so many items now. You get 2 tomes at level 10. You get the Aghanim's Blessing, which obviously should have gone to the 5 that game. Like, it bolsters these supports. Like, they all have GPM counts at 10 or 15 now. Like, it just makes sense to pick these later game supports.
Yeah, and that's why Tiny is proving to be so important and a hero that Vici Gaming does not fear, as we see the ban still respect banning that Chen from AU.
Sorry, I'm just really surprised TNC didn't ban Tide.
Yeah.
Like, they banned it the first game, they let it through last game, he owned, and I think if Vici just gonna pick it up again if TNC doesn't.
I'm more scared of the Shadow Demon. I think that kind of ruined TNC's strat last game. The Bristleback got really hard countered.
Yeah.
I know when I was playing with Ferev, he would say, I'll play Bristleback against anything.
Except Shadow
But
Demon?
not Shadow Demon.
Really?
Yeah. So...
But are you that worried? Because, I mean, they're not going to pick Bristle now, obviously,
Yeah.
right? I hope so. And that's why I just feel like in the first game, it was Enchant played by Yang, and, like, he doesn't team fight. You're an Enchantress, and now you have this Tide Hunter. You want to team fight. You want a 5v5 TNC, and I'm worried if you let Vici 5v5 you, they will not outsmart you, but, like, fight into the Shrine we saw. Like, they do the little things better. There's a Grim.
It is a Grim, a different direction for TNC actually, and not any sort of typical combo right off the bat, as Earthshaker doesn't have any targeted spells that would work with the Soulbind duplication, so going in a different direction, and Vici Gaming going to respond with a Leshrac.
Yeah, so last game it was banned in the second phase, so they couldn't open with the Shadow Demon Lesh, so now they're just going to take it earlier.
And this is popular just, you know, because you've got a great setup for Split Earth, but even beyond that, so where exactly do you think this Leshrac's going to be laning?
Probably mid.
Okay.
I think some teams can run at 3 and then a 4 Shadow Demon or 5, and they kind of pair them. They put them in the off lane. So they go on the safe lane. It's your job.
Yeah, and not only is it a great setup, right? Lesh is one of those heroes that needs a save. You don't have a blink.
Yes.
You don't have one of those things. And the fact Shadow Demon can set up and save you is so good for the hero. Because that hero just pumps out the damage. Like, Leshrac is so scary.
For the longest period of time, Leshrac's Yule's timing was so critical because not only was it giving you mana regen, but it meant that a hero that needs to be in the fight can actually live for more than like 5 seconds of Pulse Nova damage.
Yeah, that's why you'll see a lot of teams pick Oracle with Lesh.
Right.
Because they give him the save. He stays alive 5 extra seconds. That's like 1,000 damage he pumps out on every hero per second. It's crazy. I also like that they picked the Lesh over the Tide Hunter because of the Grim. I think it's a response to the Grim. His Phantom Embrace doesn't get purged by the Kraken Shell.
One of the few things, yeah.
Yeah, so you can silence the Tide. He can't really get his Ravage off. You know, if you grip him with the ult, with the Grim ult, they can't like split. The Tide gets stuck. So I like that they're kind of changing it up.
Sand King ban, really good. You have an Earthshaker, Grimstroke, Sand King. At these 15-20 minute fights, you will just get run over by like the long reach of that team, but you take it out of the pool, makes it a lot easier.
So then if you're TNC, how much are you hoping to really optimize this Grimstroke pick? Are you going to start going for, you know, the classic single target combinations that go with the Soulbind? I know Lich isn't particularly popular anymore. Doom seems to be the go-to combination from Grimstroke, but it seems that a lot of teams are just content to pick him as a great way to push out lanes because the Stroke of Fate is so useful, and then you just slap the Ink Swell onto your Initiator like an Earthshaker.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Because you think of carries that might be good, like with the Grimstroke, like a Sven, a Wraith King, maybe like that, but there's a Shadow Demon in the game, so it makes it a lot more difficult.
A lot of teams don't even pick much combo with it. I've seen teams pick like one hero, like with one spell that helps it.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of, if they want to combo with it, it's the Grim. He'll build Aether and then Sheep.
Right.
And he'll get this Hex timing at, 30-40 minutes. He has a really nice GPM talent, and he'll just combo 2 people, Hex 2 people, and that's his contribution to the fight.
You see that stat? Tim's is 0 and 3 on the Grimstroke. That is actually, I mean, it was his only negative hero, but 0 and 3, that's like, that has to be a little bit in the back of your head if you are them, like, oh wait, we just had 1. Obviously, it could be a 5.
It could be a 5, give the Tim's Earthshaker.
I think that's a better idea. I just don't even like Grim that much as 4. Eventually, you are going to get like even this that 5 position, the Sheep Stick and whatnot, because you have the GPM talent. And I don't think you need to prioritize farm on a Grim.
It does work well with Jug that they picked up. You can Ink Swell the Jug in the lane. He goes to spin. I think the Jug's a response to the Leshrac lane. You can put him there. He can never get stunned by the Shadow Demon combo.
That's true. And something that can actually brawl with Leshrac very early on, just because the Blade Fury means that he's not going to take really any damage from the Pulse Nova. It's just the Edict damage.
I think right now I'd like to see a Lina from TNC in their next pick or 2 for their mid. It works well with the Grim, and I think it lanes well against the Lesh if they decide to put him mid. It gives them this high tempo, it gives them building damage.
But you'd be willing to show your mid lane matchup this early? Or rather your mid lane hero this early on TNC? Because you don't really know where this Leshrac's going to be. We've even seen a lot of Chinese teams even one position Leshrac a lot of the times.
It depends on the team. Some teams are confident with their offlaner. If he has a big pool, he can counter the carry. They'll pick a mid like Lina, where it's stable. You're going to match up 50-50 at worst in almost every matchup.
Yep. TNC loves last picking Bat Riders, so I could see him doing that. I'm curious if Vici's going to go. I would love it if they just picked another stun. I'm trying to think of heroes that would go well, but you want to fight TNC right now. You have a Leshrac, you have a Shadow Demon. You don't mind going late, but I mean, these teams are just running at each other. Eventually, it's not the fastest paced games, right? They're going to 50, 60 minutes. Eventually, you are going to have to run into each other. And these 5-second BKBs, whoever has more stuns at that point, normally is winning these games.
Do you know Fade plays Earth Spirit?
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, he does.
He does, right?
It's not really in like their pool of heroes.
I mean,
like,
Earth
that I've
Spirit
seen
does
him
not
play.
seem to be in the pool of heroes either, which is so shocking to me. The hero's been so good for so long, and now it seems to be more situational. Instead, BG Gaming going to go for a Warlock. Obviously, plenty of synergy with the Leshrac with the Fatal Bonds, right?
Yeah, a lot of AoE, you have a lot of control. It's more team fight. They were a little lacking on team fight control. They had more single target from Shadow Demon. They had AoE damage from Lesh, but now they have the control.
And you have the cancel on Jug now with the Rock,
Exactly.
which is really nice. Just holding him in place. Now you have the Rock, you have the ulti from Shadow Demon. This Jug is not going to be happy in fights.
Yeah, this Blade Fury spell immunity is not going to be able to protect you from these ultimates.
And it's going to be, looks like it is going to be the Fade on Shadow Demon, which I like. I love a farm Shadow Demon.
Do you think they're going to do 3 Lesh then? And try to match him with the...
That's why I feel they're going to do, I think they're going to want to, if they do that right, you have to dodge the Juggernaut lane, right? And we could see a lot of lane swapping. Obviously, we still don't know because 3 heroes, but...
There's the Tiny TNC Predator. It has brought them so much success. Unfortunately, in that last game, did not really pan out, but still, it's been a real showstopper this entire day.
Now I like it, because now you have 2 heroes who pair very well. Looks like the Lesh probably will going middle. As you said, though, the Chinese teams do like sometimes playing it as a carry role. Like, it does scale insanely well. That level 25 talent, buildings are dead, heroes are dead, the Edict explosion.
Even the 20 talent, the Pulse Nova damage, he does crazy damage.
Yep, and you have so many pardon.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see what TNC does with the Tiny. They did it 4 the first game.
True.
3 the second game.
And you've been waiting for a 2 Tiny.
Is it going to be the 2 Tiny?
Is it going to be the 2 Tiny?
I think it's decent this game. There's 3 heroes that are really squishy in the early game.
And TNC has the overall last pick, so they can set up for it if they really want.
Yeah, this last ban will determine if they want to protect something like it. So if you did want to do a Tiny mid, and you're not expecting it to be a Leshrac mid, what kind of bans is a Tiny looking for? What does he not want to have to deal with in the mid lane?
I don't think you need a ban for the lane itself, as Tiny is a kind of self-sustaining lane.
Okay.
More of just the game, probably.
You ban a hero, assuming that you assume the Lesh is mid, and you ban a hero that's going to own you from the carry position, I think, more so. I think Death Prophet actually might be a good ban. They haven't banned it yet.
Yeah, the first time it's really, there you go. The first time it got through the second phase there, actually.
I think that would have matched up really well with Vici's pace. It gives them a lot more team fight building. It's like works well with the Warlock as well. You have a heal, you can pop your heal on the DP. We have another save in the Shadow Demon, like Grant said earlier.
And there would be a ridiculous amount of push. You got the Retaliate from Centaur, you got the Golem from Warlock, you got the Edict explosions from Leshrac. If you had a Death Prophet on top of that, it would have been devastating.
I'm excited to see, we saw a little bit in group stage, how many people are going to go middle to defend against that Retaliate, getting it at level 1.
Yeah.
We saw a full 5-on-5 fight just to stop him from being able to get those stacks. I always find that so, like, just the change, like, we'll just give it to him, and now it's like, let's fight for him. Who cares about the runes? We gotta fight.
Increasing, like, at first it was like Centaur would just do it and people would be like, whatever. And then you'd need to bring an escort from Centaur. And Vici Gaming, they're gonna go late. They are picking up a Medusa, although it's not as late as Medusa used to be. These days we're seeing Medusas participate a lot earlier on.
I think they get this Manta Butterfly timing and they push. But I'd be scared for a TNC Lina right now. It matches up well against the Dusa, and like we said, it kind of goes well with their other heroes. So I'm looking forward to Alina here.
Yeah, because with the Grimstar, right, double Laguna is one of those things, like we saw it multiple times in the group stage. It's just scary, especially when you get that Ags, the pure damage from heroes.
No.
They got
22nd pick Brood Mother.
And it's against Medusa. This is a good Brood game, right, Gunnar? Like, if you're playing the Medusa, how are you feeling?
I don't want to go to lower bracket.
Yeah, they got brooded, I believe.
You're going to lower bracket on a Brood game. This Medusa's going to have to farm her little heart out.
Yep, you can farm the snakes. Obviously, you have split shot and that, but sometimes if she gets a Diffusal Blade, you just got to be careful. You're just getting run at.
So, I got to hear it. We're ending the series. Which way are you going, Grant?
I'm taking TNC. I think it's a great Brood pick. I love that they just have the Earthshaker and the Tiny again. I don't think those were ever the problems, and it controls the mid game while your Brood just runs around doing her own thing.
Gunnar?
I gotta go with TNC. The Brood was just a really nice pick. I think Dusa doesn't really kill the spiders that fast. Her split shot's not amazing for it. They have a good amount of magic resistance as well, so the snake doesn't really kill them. I think they might run over in 20 minutes.
All right, fair enough. But guess what, Grant?
What's that? That's my line.
I know.
Son of a gun.
I want to hear from the Banana Slam Jamma. That's what I want to know.
Going into this last game, I was thinking from the first two games, they both went over an hour long. And I was like, who's going to have the better late game? And I looked at Vichi's draft, and I was feeling really good. The Medusa, the Warlock behind, the Shadow Demon save. Felt like they were going to have a really hard time fighting into this Medusa. And then suddenly you get this last pick Brood. And I think TNC's on this timer where they have to hit the mid game really hard, snowball off the lanes. If it does go late, I favor Vici, but I don't know. They have no way to deal with Broodmother early on in the game, and I'm scared for them about as scared for them as I am of spiders. So let's find out how this game's going to go from Toby, Juan, and Synderen.
You know, spiders are terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. And it looks to be the same thing here in the draft, man. Like, what is the answer? How do they find the clearance? How do they survive longer than 20 minutes that the draft panel put us on a clock for?
Real life spiders don't look like that. Unfortunately.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
You haven't seen Australian spiders.
It would be pretty terrifying if you saw that spider in real life. Not just size, but also looks with like the cosmetics and everything it has on it. Yeah, this is a really great last pick Brood from TNC. I think if you're Vici Gaming, your solution is to put the Centaur mid. I don't think there's any other way you deal with this. You play the Medusa safe lane with the Warlock, and then you offlane Shadow Demon Leshrac. Perhaps you can do some tri-lane shenanigans and leave the Dusa solo and let her suffer a little bit. But I think the dual lane setup is the only thing you can really do. So what TNC should be looking at is, if the lanes are super predictable for them, which they kind of should be, put the ideal lanes. You keep your Brood mid, even if it's against Centaur, that's completely fine. But how can you punish one of the side lanes? Do you leave a hero solo and do some super strong tri-lane with the Grimstroke and Juggernaut? Or do you also do a 2-1-2 match where you can beat them in perhaps all three lanes if everything goes right?
That'd be very advantageous, and that would put at least like if they could win all three lanes, TNC will be very happy because they can potentially stick to that 20-minute timer. But I also like the combinations that VG Gaming have, where you have the SD as well as the Leshrac. It's a classic, it works really well. DY, if you can get early levels and you actually have a rock to drop, if you actually have Fatal Bonds, if you have some kind of control that's able to amplify the damage that Paparazzi as well as Ori may be missing in the early part of the game, then this is a better advantage too. And it feels like, while there's not a Magnus in this game, the rock drop is still able to cause a lot of problems. Same with the Stampede. How does TNC stay on top of them, or does it not matter? Do you just keep pushing anyway?
I mean, I'm pretty convinced that if this goes late, Vici Gaming will win this game, because they have some good late-game solutions for Brood. They just don't have the early mid-game solutions for Brood. And Brood has a tendency to either win games in 30, 35 minutes, sometimes maybe 40, or lose most of the time when it goes very late because the hero falls off. Whereas a hero like Medusa scales very well into late game. So does Centaur, so does Leshrac, and their two supports. All of Vici's heroes are amazing in long games. So, yep, you got to hit that timing for TNC, and a lot of it is going to come from Armel. So keep a close eye on his lane.
We have seen some Broodmothers have more success in the late game just because of the change to the webs.
Yes.
And that's one thing they can do when the late game comes up. Ori's already being heavily attacked up on top lane. Tims has Toss. He's going to throw him back a long, long way. Ori's already used the Mystic Snake as much as he can, but there's no regeneration. Gabby gets the first blood up on top lane, and DY, there's nothing he can do about it. He hasn't even leveled an ability yet. And every time, this will happen again. Tims with another toss. The early aggression. They cannot allow this to happen. DY, now he'll level up the Shadow Word. He's putting it onto Tims. He wants some level, some rebuttal, one more attack. It may be enough. Yeah, it will be. The Shadow Word will tick him down.
Tango.
And DY, well, he's, yeah,
Tango.
Actually, is it still?
Tango.
It's enough. Tango is good.
Tango. Close call, though, but he got out. And yeah, this tri-lane is super strong. TNC has a true kill lane here with Grim, Tiny, Jugger. It's only going to get worse when both Grim and Tiny hit level 2, so that they have Inkswell and Avalanche, as Tims will
Not deny himself to the mid tower.
Suicide to the mid tower.
Hey, but shared bounty, right?
Yep.
Everyone gets some money. And Cuckoo's getting pounded on the bottom lane. He's looking for some CS, but he's 10-2 to the 2-0. Right, of himself 2-0. But Paparazzi's trying to do some damage directly into Cuckoo. No points up in Edict just yet. They're using Disruption, Lightning, Split Earth, anything they could do to harass him down. He's down to 3 tangos after burning through a couple more as well south.
That's the price they'll pay. But if they can shut down Medusa really hard, it's great news for them. When it's going to come to pushing and ending the game, though, you might want Leshrac to have a slightly worse game than this because it's such a strong team fighter with a lot of damage output with the right items. But as the panel talked about, there's some serious bursts on the Radiant side from Tiny and the Juggernaut Omnislash as well. You can probably deal with Leshrac pretty well.
And defensive ward from DY is down, so they can at least see where Tims is moving. They probably would have liked to get it on the other side of the tree line, but Feder bonds Tims and AU to the camp. Tims with the Avalanche, someone want to come close enough? Yep, it will in fact be the Grimstroke, and DY wants to help out. He's just got some damage into the Grimstroke, and that's all. Ori is totally dead. The shields are nowhere near strong enough. And it's just a terrible game for the Deucer now. And I just saw Yang jump, I think, like 10 CS. One double edge on the Spiders. Okay, he just went up another 5 CS.
He's going to rush Vanguard. Then he's pretty safe made against the Broodmother. What generally happens in Brood matchups like these is that Brood will retreat to the jungle and just out-farm you. It will farm wave and jungle camps, and Yang will just sit there and get only the wave. But Centaur's biggest advantage in this lane, to an extent, apart from being able to be there, is that if Brood leaves, he's going to take the tower with Retaliate. So you put a little bit of extra pressure on that mid-hero to stick around, and will probably limit Armel's farm by a little bit. Trying to be annoying now.
It buys some good time, more than anything else. And that's what VG Gaming need. Still get Leshrac up there, top 3 net worths. Only one of them belongs to TNC. Brood's still a little bit further behind. We know that will start to scale once Brood.
Bottom lane.
Oh, they're actually going again.
Yeah.
Yep, Cuckoo trapped out. Fade. He's getting a lot of poison stacks on him. That's 4. One more, not even needing it. He just pops him anyway. And up on top, Tims going once again, DY. And this top lane eventually is going to have some diminishing returns. Tims is going in very deep.
Nice
Puts the
toss.
Shadow Word on him, tosses him back over towards Grimstroke.
Tims, or DY was not expecting Tims to be able to find the toss there. He was standing in the middle of the creep wave, but Tims found the right angle to be closest to the Warlock and toss him away, and they get a nice kill there. Warlock will be respawning and be able to reconnect for the bounty runes, but I don't think VG Gaming have any intent on trying to do anything on the top runes. Rather, push out bottom lane with the Leshrac and try to get those runes, as Shaker has...
He's abandoned.
He's gone woods.
Yeah, he's gone bush.
That's... Somebody's got to go bottom. You don't give up a lane at 5 minutes like this. I don't think that cannot be worth it with the heroes that they have.
No, that's like full free farm for Paparazzi.
That's one thing. It's also all this golden experience you're losing by not having a hero in this lane. Like, sure, you get some stuff in the jungle, but that's not ideal.
Unless they're thinking about lane switching. You've hit pretty heavily into the Deucer. Like, is there a need to actually bring some pressure down against the Leshrac?
I think that ship has kind of sailed for the laning stage, unless you bring 2 or 3 heroes down there. There's nobody who can go down here on his own and stop this Leshrac from doing what it's doing. The problem is if they don't do it, he's just going to push their towers. It's level 3 Edict. These towers fall really quickly. So this is absolutely a problem for TNC that Cuckoo has to evacuate that early, but that was the choice they made when they aggroed the Deucer.
Yep.
Deucer is in trouble again.
Yep, really staying on top, but then again the Stampede. Inkswell won't connect, Fatal Bond's connecting 3 heroes together, and Paparazzi, he's joined the fight. Now he's just going to turn on the teams. They're all connected together, and no way to break free. Cuckoo trapped in the tree lines. If they can attack into Tims as well as Gabby, Gabby's going to try and spin TV out. He actually gets the kill on the way out. Tims is doing some damage into AU, but he's back home safely, regenerating up.
And these fights are only going to get worse now. If you try to dive, now that Leshrac has Pulse Nova, when he shows up, he's like double his damage in these kind of fights. So you've got to be super careful with how deep you dive as TNC. You got the kill that you came for, but it cost you 2 cores.
Hey, someone's going to go back down bottom lane as well. SD is now alone down there.
Yeah.
He didn't have to come for the fight. They sent in Paparazzi because they realized they needed the damage output from him. And what happened to Leshrac? He has now skyrocketed up to #1 in the net worth, 3.6k. And he can build some very, very large items very early on in this game. Like, you're 6-7 minutes into the game. Efficiency Shrine just for good luck. Yang has already finished up the Vanguard. Paparazzi, what do we got coming out in the Courier?
It's not for him.
It's not for him, you're right. He was looking at a Bracer as well as a Null.
He's quick buying Bracer. I think it's a really good choice. Maybe you get Bracer and then Yules, or maybe you get, I don't think you get 2 Braces and 1 Null. That seems a little bit overkill, but the Bracer would be fine. And yeah, we see it. Gabby has to go bottom now. Because, you know, somebody's got to be down here.
Yep.
And he does the long run from base to bottom because he died TPing out from top.
AU. Do they see him? Do they see him moving around the tree line? He drops down his Observer Ward, instantly dewarded. That's actually munched on by Ori, so hey, efficiency tango. What happened to this mid-pressure that I thought Armel was going to do? Centaur, with Retaliate, is just wrecking this tier 1 tower. And Armel, the panel was saying, like, this is meant to be Armel's game, a great Broodmother game, but right now it's taking some time. The only great lane is up here on top where TNC is fighting once again. Stampede, the body block was good, but once again, Paparazzi TPs himself over. Cuckoo is the sacrificial lamb into the tree lines. They're holding the split earth just in case, but it's not even required. Cuckoo, well, DY.
How did DY get that?
Wait, what? Okay, sure, he'll take it.
Did he die to fatal bond damage from the Grimstone?
I think it was Shadow Word Tick,
right?
right?
There was a Shadow Word?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so Yang has won the mid lane. He took Brood's tower and is 600 gold ahead of it.
Well, now they're trying to do something about it, but oh, the 3-man stun! The hop stomp and the follow-up from Paparazzi. They'll take AU. He came out for the regen rune. Oh, this game is starting to escalate a little bit quicker. We were talking about TNC potentially winning all 3 lanes with great matchups, and now it feels like all 3 lanes, or at least 2 of them, have gone the way of VG Gaming.
I think you only have a possibility of winning all 3 lanes if you play 2-1-2. If you play 3-1-1, you can't win the 1-on-2 lane. And that one was lost really hard. The Shaker against the Leshrac plus Shadow Demon lane. And the Brood against Centaur, I would have said beforehand that that is not a Brood favored matchup in the beginning, but that Brood can win it by farming, and eventually Armel will do that. But he lost his tower minute 730. I don't think that's as early as this would usually go, but Yang is super experienced with playing the Centaur, and he's having a wonderful game. 113 CS minute 9. I guess some of them are Spiderlings, but that's also telling, right? If he kills this many spiders, maybe Armel isn't in his right element on this hero in this game.
Yeah, he was throwing him in like
great in the groups, right?
Yeah, he did. Fade is just doing nothing but chasing down AU. He had more than enough poison stacks on him. AU was on a warding mission. He came in onto the cover of smoke, but he only came in as he dropped the Radiant Orbs on top of his death position. So he was looking to plant that next to the tier 1 tower. But I can tell you right now, with VG's presence down here, there's no way TNC getting close to that dire bottom tier 1. But with Leshrac arriving, 4 points up, an Edict to push the wave, take it back. Looks like Armel's getting some damage into that mid tower, bringing it down to half-life as Yang had abandoned his post for a moment. And the catch-up is happening, as you said. Hand of Minus is over on Armel. He's building into the Aghanim Scepter. Rushing it up, realizing he needs to have a large amount of control across this map.
Yeah, he needs to farm a lot. Risky. But already, that is already a bit of a problem. If your Broodmother needs to, not that Brood needs to farm a lot, Brood always needs to farm a lot, but that it feels like he needs to catch up in a game where we talk about VG Gaming having the better late game and the overall early stage went well for them. This is very quickly becoming a problem. The win expectancy is 75% for VG Gaming, and we're only 10 minutes in. And it's just this early mid tower and this golden experience lead that they have from the laning stages is quickly becoming a problem for TNC to deal with.
And look at the confidence from Yang. He doesn't care about coming high ground with a double edge Armel. And that's some spill damage up on top. Paparazzi, Invis Rune looking to prep up. It's a toss back. They don't even know Leshrac. Actually, yeah, they do. He walked just in range of the sentry ward. That's why Tims threw out the toss straight away. But Stampede, now they're chasing after Tims. What's he got? He's got toss off cooldown. He'll throw Paparazzi away, but Purge is up. Split Earth will easily be able to connect. And the tiny wall fall. Paparazzi claiming his 4th kill of the 8 that VG have 11 minutes in. His Gabby's getting something on the bottom lane. Farming out quickly, going in for the Maelstrom build over on the Juggernaut. And getting some damage into this tier 1 tower. Medusa will have to come and do something about it. She's just been wanting to farm up the stacks.
Yep. It feels like TNC actually need to start making moves, but your Brood is not really ready for it yet. Yang is just sitting on Brood really, really hard. And your Shaker got crushed in lane, so he doesn't have many play options. And Tiny's level 5. with Scrimstroke, he's also level 5. We're 12 minutes in, none of their supports are level 6. On the other side, Shadow Demon is almost level 8, and Warlock is almost level 8. They have a huge lead. Are there any tomes on this courier? There are no tomes. This is what will happen. So the weakness of going tri-lane like this is if you don't get a lot of kills and just stomp the lane, if you keep the lanes for too long, your supports are going to get underleveled because they're sharing experience 3 ways, right?
Yep.
And I felt like the moment Shaker evacuated from bottom and gave up on the lane, you need to put a support down there to leech this experience. You can't just leave this lane empty for 2 or 3 minutes, which results in exactly this. Your options are just super limited on the map right now for TNC.
You know, Fade, I think that's a little greedy, but I understand he wants to get the Ether Lens up. He just farmed half of the stacks that he did on the Ancients with just mass stacking up poison. But Ori can finish what's left.
I'm the carry now.
Yeah, it's just...
And now Brood is top net worth. So Armel is finally leading the board. But similar to Alchemist, Brood has a bad game if it is not the richest hero in the map. Your net worth is not as valuable as other heroes overall. In general, that's like a rule of thumb. It's not 100% always, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So this is not enough. If you recall some of the very iconic Matumba Man games, for example, from TI7 when Liquid won, a lot of the games Mato is 2k gold ahead of all enemy cores at this point, or maybe even 3. So with that logic in mind, Broodmother is currently behind par for the course, kind of.
He needs to catch up 2,000 gold.
He needs to find big items. And maybe if there's some sort of stray kill that can come his way that could help, maybe the Broodmother can find Shadow Demon, someone kill him with spiders, but Vici are just not playing Brood's part of the map with anyone else than Centaur, and he can't kill that guy, so look at how fat Yang is.
Yeah.
Crimson Guard, 2k health, minute 13.
And he's working on finishing a full pipe for his team, so a lot of the magical damage is going to be negated on TNC. Meanwhile, Paparazzi, because of his Grey Start's got a Your Scepter, so he's got both defense as well as aggressive options when it comes to the fights. And he's got Warlock sitting behind him. Like normally you have a Warlock and their Warlock hits 6 and you're like, okay guys, let's go and fight. Let's find a great opportunity. And now on bottom lane, there's the movement. Tim's, Yules, stunned, can't walk away. He added some pressure. He tried to toss away Paparazzi, but that may have actually just hurt Gabby more if that actually succeeded. But it doesn't. There's still a one-off kill. Blink Dagger flying out right now. In fact, it's...
Gabby's running at Yang, but
no, that's not
what are you going to do?
There's a Blink Dagger for Cuckoo. This has to come on the back of a smoke. The Aghanim Scepter as well, I think it's about to be completed up for Armel.
Yep.
So a lot of critical items starting to arrive for TNC. What can they do with it?
Yeah, this has to be a play timing, right? You smoke up with your Shaker, your Tiny, your Grimstroke, and maybe a Jugger or Brood, and you combine on the lane and get something done. Either you get this mid tower with a lot of Spiderlings, or you try to push the top tower. But just sitting around farming right now, I think is definitely the wrong play and something needs to happen. So let's see what they're going to do. They're just going to grab these 2 bounty runes for now.
God, those whip
and
charges
Vici
are
are getting a tower in the meantime. This lead, Toby, it's getting ridiculous. What do you think? 90% almost. 15 minutes in.
You just watch the win probability.
I mean, you look at that graph and you just feel like, okay, I mean, I know it went a bit better for Vici in the last 3 minutes, but I didn't expect it to swing this much, you know? It's like...
And you still have a Broodmother at number 1, Juggernauts at number 3, and when it comes to net worth, like, items are not stopping, but it just tells you the tail when it comes to gold, when it comes to kills. It's not always the easy answer to say, well, we're ahead a little bit, so we're only like 60% favored.
Expectancy of games is... like, the golden XP graph can only take you so far because it's a lot about knowledge of matchups and how things are supposed to go. DY
actually reveals that Earthshaker blinks over, but he didn't see DY. Now DY will drop the rock as well as get the Feather Bonds off. Have they got another control? No, they don't. In fact, it's Fade in trouble. Stampede to disengage. My God, all those spiders just evaporated. Paparazzi and Centaur can go to work. Your Scepter up, and you will hit the deck in the hardest way possible.
Yeah, TNC just didn't find the play. It's so hard for them to find an opening right now.
That timing was really unfortunate too. Like,
yeah, they ran.
You had to have a guess of where the blink was, and DY was only just putting that Observer Ward down.
Yep.
The trade-off, looking for the mid tower. Paparazzi will arrive. Once again, a lot of Spiderlings died for this movie. We're at 228 CS on Centaur and 172 on the Deucer. A lot of this is spiders.
I don't think the Deucer killed any spiders.
She hasn't? I guess she's just been neutraling.
Maybe a bit, but not much. If she killed, I don't, like 5 maybe? I don't think I've seen her kill very many spiders at least.
Like, watch the spider gold counter or something. That's what we need.
They give minimal amounts of gold. It doesn't really matter that much. They're worth like 3 gold each or whatever. I mean, it's something, but...
And Cuckoo really wants to drop this Echo Slam somewhere, but he's not finding an opportunity at all. And he doesn't want to do it on Yang. Hood is already done. Crimson Guard is up. I think the pipe is just, he's just waiting for 50 gold, and the pipe will fly out.
So we talked pre-game about timing and what TNC's lineup needs to accomplish in order to get control of this game and run away with it. And now that the timing has been missed, that is why we're seeing this 90% win expectancy. So what's the last 10%? Outside of Vici screwing up, the options that TNC are kind of limited to are trying to force fights around where Brood is playing, and then probably blowing up the Leshrac is my best bet. You're not killing Centaur, and if you are, it's going to cost you the fight.
Well,
You're
on the
not
right
killing
side,
Medusa.
Leshrac went for movement speed build, so that's your upside.
He does have a save, however, and a golem behind him once that's available, so even that kill is hard, but it's what you've got to try as TNC is to find a way to access fights. If you're playing chicken with Brood the whole game, hey, Brood's chances are just not good here, so you've got to start taking some risks. Got to go for some plays that are maybe very unlikely to succeed, but what if they do?
Yang wants to play. Gabby doesn't want it. Here, have a VG tag. No one save you, Gabby. Actually, you will. Then just like, you wait a second. Huh? You're fine. Spin saves him, not the tag. But nice to see he's coming into this series armed with all the memes they can have. Paparazzi's hoping for an opportunity in mid, and Viz ruined up.
Paparazzi's changing his build. He was hovering the Kaya, which is the classic component from the Sumail move speed build. I'm gonna call it the Sumail build because he was the first guy I saw do it. I don't know if he actually invented it, but I think he might have.
We'll give him credit.
Where you go the Boots of Travel Yules, and then, or Yules, then Boots of Travel, then Kaya Yasha. So you have permanent 550 move speed with the 15 talent move speed. And then you can level up your Pulse Nova early because you have the mana cost reduction from the Kaya.
And Yang is hunting. Bottom lane, Stampede, straight through. Tims, well, he knows he's dead. Paparazzi didn't even arrive in time for the rest of TNC. Hey, what happens? You lose a hero. Let's go fight, boys. 4 heroes together, smoked up, looking towards the mid-tier 1 tower. Fate is the man who's on the defense duty.
I'll finally get this tower.
Even if they have to go, just send the spiders. They'll do the job.
Yep.
But maybe they can get something else. Dusa, as well as SD is here. TNC fight best when there are only 4. They already get the slow out, the silence. No, Vandastar the rock, and the feather bombs. 3 heroes connected together. They're going to burn so hard. Yang just walking up. You've already taken out the Grimstroke. Gabby, no longer spell immune. Cannot stand next to Paparazzi. They want Cuckoo. He'll blink away to safety. But VG Gaming, 2 heroes down. They can push towers. They can take Roshan. They can do both. They can take runes. They can only do 2 out of those 3.
Are you sure about that?
Well, there's only so much time they've got.
Yeah.
It's not infinite. Then Tims is going for the bottom bounty runes.
Yeah, at the very least for TNC, they do look to get a 2-2 trade. Never mind, they get 3 for 1. Shadow Demon shows up with a haste.
Yeah, they didn't even take the tower, so I guess not.
And imagine, we're sitting here watching both teams' perspective, right? We're watching what both teams are doing, what items they have, how they're moving, where the wards are. And I'm struggling to see potentially good plays for TNC right now. So from their perspective in this game, I really wonder what the communication is right now. Like, what's the next play? What's the goal of the game? How are we going to get out of this sticky situation here to make the comeback?
Does the itemization of Armel kind of tell you a little bit about that? Like, he builds pipe, he's building for the team to stand together. You're still getting like full-on damage from Gabby. Like, he's going in for Mjolnir style build.
Maybe the timing is level 20 on Armel, so he gets the spider attack damage talent. And then he's going to have the Solar Crest and the pipe to keep the spiders alive.
Yang missing that up a little bit. Tim's trying to do something with this as here comes the blink in from Cuckoo. Great fidget block, but it's the biggest hero you got to try and bring down. Once again, Fatal Bond's doing its work with the Echo Slam. They're getting through what we thought could have been the unkillable. We asked them to do something, and that's exactly what happens. Armel wants to go for more. DY begins to TP. Someone got a stun. Cuckoo does. Blinks forward, and now 2 heroes from VG Gaming fall.
All right, that's good.
That'll work.
They got 2 kills, one of them being the huge Centaur. They had to work hard for that kill, though. If Yang wouldn't have chilled so long and just used Stampede, he would have probably got out of there.
Yeah.
But he felt invincible, and that's... Sometimes feeling invincible is not a good thing.
Isn't that game 1 all over again?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, we feel really good. Wait, hang on. Reminder, we are playing a team that can knock us to the lower bracket of TI9.
So,
give respect.
Very, very big for Brood to get this. He got both kills, he got the tier 2 tower, and all of a sudden Armel is almost got the Solar Crest and the level 20. And
Ari is still getting bigger, though, while all this is going on. Like, all the fights that have been happening, Ari has literally just been jungling or lane farming in very safe areas. He's almost going to crack the 300 CS and about to finish a full butterfly.
that we'll cross that bridge when we get to it for TNC. First problems first.
One step at a time.
Need to deal with the Medusa later.
Hey, you'll be able to control it. Cuckoo's building in for an Aghanim Scepter. And once you got this, maneuverability is going to be the name of the game. Broodmother moving up and down hills, Cuckoo staying with him.
As far as Vici goes, though, you saw how long it took them to kill that Centaur. Imagine there's a save there. Imagine there's a Golem. Imagine there's a Shadow Demon Disruption. It feels like this play only works because there's not enough in the way of protecting him at the time. So if Vici Gaming are a little bit more together, winning a team fight right now for TNC seems almost next to impossible. Like, they need a really good Echo Slam, they need a really good Tiny Combo, probably a good Omni Slash too. Like, they can't really make any mistakes, which, you know, we've seen flawless teamfight executions from TNC. They can do it, but it's a really stacked deck against them right now in those fights.
Well, we passed, as you said, 20-minute mark. 23 is on the board. TNC.
It's a bit of a comeback, though, if you look at the graph. It got a couple of percentages.
It definitely is. We're now sitting at 89% for VG Gaming win probability.
So just
As
has
Paparazzi.
the solar, right? Brood has the solar.
On Courier? Yeah.
So there's a solar and the level 20. The reason I'm looking for this timing is Brood gets insanely strong when these two things align. When you get the Solar Crest and level 20 for the Spider attack damage talent, you go from dealing a lot of damage to dealing a lot of damage.
Yang still wants the Spiders.
That's not a good way to have an army.
382 CS now on the Centaur. Rack 'em and stack 'em.
This is the highest CS of Centaur ever at 24 minutes. I almost guarantee it.
Nice smoke up from VG Gaming, except at the same time, Fade was walking back. Glimmer Ether Lens.
It might be the highest CS by Centaur ever at this point by like 50.
He's going to go in for Roshan. TNC, they're going to try and sneak
I love it.
in.
I love it. Take a risk.
But hey, Yang, he's taunting his way over the pit. Don't look now. He hops on the pit. He's able to get the double stun. Running Roshan. Paparazzi was a fall for Gabby. He's perched up. He cannot move even with the spin. This is that piercing. The rock will drop. Connect everybody up. A quick Omni Slash. Try and break him free. Get him inside the pit. Gabby, he's actually on the other side of the rock wall. He gets away while Tibbs keeps it into the back line. You've actually wasted the Stone Gaze, and TNC, they get out without a single loss.
Yeah, there's no Stone Gaze, no Golem, no Stampede. That's pretty good.
Brood can slip back into Roshan. Now VG Gaming's attention turns into how do we stop TNC from claiming Roshan?
And I love TNC take this risk. You see, it's a high-risk play, but the reward could be massive, right? If you don't take these risks in this kind of game, you're unlikely to come back, so...
They're even trying to kill the Golem off.
Yeah,
hey, there's some money.
And Brood is back looking at the Rosh pit. Has the Spider damage talent. This Rosh can die really quickly.
You see,
Armel might just get it, actually.
Good Observer Ward. Just looking in. What do you do, Ari? Do you want to push? He's got no save. There's no backup. There's a disruption. They're smoked up VG Gaming. They're still watching Roshan closely. The damage from the Spiders as well as the Brood is so huge. The Spiders actually almost going to go down. The poison's killing them off. This is when Armel loses his power, when he loses his Spiders.
Yep.
So he has to make some more. Over towards mid. There's more where that came from. Hop stop, jumping in. Yang was trying to fight. Great Fish in the back line, but Paparazzi and BKB all protected. They're losing the Broodmother way too quickly. Armel needs to get up the hill and far, far away. There's no place like home. Lashrak and Yang both able to back up. There's a nice regeneration room. Deny it. Woo. Okay, well, that'll still deny it. No, he bottled it. So Paparazzi can get back up to full mana.
Like, hello.
Roshan, remember this man? 1700 HP. They want to break through him. Grimstroke's looking. Gabby walks in. Gabby walks out. We're playing do-si-do in the fog of war. Paparazzi found the target in the back line. Cuckoo dead so quickly. He takes so much damage. Now Paparazzi can burn the regeneration room, get all that mana back. But Tiny wants something else. He's tossed back the illusion. He wanted the real one. Now Tibbs is out way too far. Yang will capitalize. Hooks stopping forward. Able to get the double edge damage. Paparazzi's there too. With the lightning, they got the so stampeding up. Tibbs Ori. He is the gatekeeper at the front of the pit. TNC can still not get in, and Yang is like, okay, maybe I should do some damage now. I'll help Paparazzi. Armel can't let this happen. Ori still on the front lines with a fidget block. He's trapped up on the high ground. DY can't really help him. Roshan, he will die to VG Gaming. Hager's in the hands right now. It's actually going to be Paparazzi. Gabby, he's trapped and brought down. Broodmother. Now he's trying to retreat. The more damage he takes, the faster Grimstroke will die too.
That was a super well-played Roshan control by VG Gaming. This whole situation, the way they spread their heroes, they have, like you said, the Medusa is kind of just protecting the Roshan area while the Leshrac finds an opening onto the Shaker, and they get a great fight out of it in the end. And, you know, hats off to TNC for trying to pull off this play. I think you have to do something like this, like I've said before. VG were just too good in this instance, and a weaker team would have maybe faltered there, and you would have got the Roche. But you see, so Ori's going to walk up here and will get fissured off, but get Stone Gaze off, and flat out a mistake from Gabby here to get petrified. This should not be happening. You're just running in, getting petrified. I'm not sure what the plan is here. There's no way in hell you're ever killing the Medusa without using Omnislash. She didn't have any mana. And then they just ran down and forced the Brood away as well.
Yeah, you realize it from TNC. There was a lot of laughing before game 2, but things have gotten really serious. They're missing their timing. The pick a Brood didn't work out the way they wanted it to. But you still come up with a plan. You still try and find a way to fight against VG Gaming. It seems so hard to keep these spiders alive too from Armel. All that big damage he wants to get into the backlines to kill off units like the SD. But then you got Glimmer Cape protection. In fact, both of them are going Glimmer Cape. DY has almost completed his.
Yep.
So difficult for TNC just to get this straight up target lockdown. Goodbye tier 2 tower. Aegis to the Immortal. Well, they're still in the hands of Paparazzi up on top. He's having his own little duel with Tims. Stampede just wants to close the distance. Do some more damage. Tims has tossed. The creep wave's coming in. That's not what he wanted. Paparazzi, such fancy footwork. That's difficult with 4 legs. Tims, there's your hit with the splitter. Down he goes.
Made him work for it. I think Paparazzi messed up and could probably stunned out of the Yules. Not sure if he was saving it for anything else or had cooldown, but when I clicked up there, I think it was ready. So they have to use a Stampede, and it takes another 10 or 15 seconds. So Tim's definitely buying some time there, but time for what? Time for what?
The second coming of TNC.
Well, maybe time to fight for bounties.
Maybe.
You gotta try it.
Well, 15 seconds to get into position. Luckily, Brood has a rather large network that he could use to get north.
And a rather large net worth, unlike all of his teammates.
Well, that's because he's taking up most of the map. It's pretty choked out. VG Gaming aren't giving them many options. And now, well, Juggernaut, Yang, well, blink, hope stomp, quick on the Blade Fury. And Gabby, he needs some distance, and he needs it now. The rock will drop. Here comes Ori too. Needs some extra slow. Broodmother's going to be nearby. They're doing so much damage. There's no way the Juggernaut can live. Even with the avalanche, they can't create enough space. Dead without buyback, and Armel. Woo! That TP didn't work. And Armel, no protection. They're trying to slow him down. Great Fisher. Cuckoo able to create a little bit of extra space, but VG don't care. They just want to rampage forward. They want that semi-final matchup against LGD. And at this rate, they'll take it. TNC, they need a miracle.
Or 5.
One after the other, no spaces between.
Yeah, this is looking really, really tough for them. Just a flat-out 5-on-5 seems completely unfavored. They don't have the damage to kill the Medusa. The Leshrac has an Aegis. Is running around with haste move speed pretty much. He took the strength talent, so actually doesn't have full haste move speed, but 510. And another huge grab for VG Gaming.
And together they move out. They can take out the Shrine. They'll push through the top tier 2 tower as well. It's time for the new Vision game from VG Gaming. Actually, they've got 4 TP scrolls coming on the courier. All right.
Yang wants to be able to TP.
Yeah, they're all his. Could have brought some Observer Wards for him if they're off cooldown, but nope, we'll do it this way instead. Tier 2 tower is gone, and they will not hold back. With the Aegis the Immortal on Paparazzi, he's got nothing to fear. The fissure doesn't block him out. Ori has enough space to move up high ground. No missed chances for him. And Paparazzi now triggers off the Edict. No fortification available from TNC. So the tower cannot survive. They are losing map control so fast. And all Armel can do is just move within his network, farm outside, but farm to what end?
He's got a Hex, so he can kill Shadow Demon.
He can
find some.
At least they have something then that can work with the Soulbind.
True. That's another good point about this game. When it comes to teamfight and how TNC have built their lineup, they really haven't set up Grimstroke for success except the Juggernaut spin with Inkswell on. That's the only thing that synergizes with his ulti is his own silence and toss outside of the Hex that Brood got 30 minutes in. So Grimstroke's primary teamfight contribution is generally one stun from the Inkswell and then the Soulbind and setting his teammates up for success and maybe a good stroke of fate. But you take that ulti out of the equation, it used to even slow, it doesn't slow anymore.
Like, you just see, like, how happy VG are to keep doing what they're doing. Like, you've already got your defensive items for Ori, and he's going in for the MKB next. Like, no need to worry about the big burst damage. 2.1k HP seems to be enough for him. Same with Lashrak, 2k, but he's got the BKB to defend.
He's super fine. He has 2.1k. Oh,
Ooh, Armel, the blink, the hold stop. They catch out the Brood Mother, and all the stuns, they continue to chain. Brood is dead. 85 seconds. Grimstroke cannot TP out. Faith able to control him with the disruption. And VG are all over TNC. No room to breathe. And this feels fatal. The push up from VG. YOLO indeed, Gabby. That's all you can do. The buyback came out from the Grimstroke. But without the Brood Mother, you don't even have the double Hex we were talking about. Tims, he goes for it. He doesn't get the toss back, however. He just tosses Ori straight up in the air. A quick fissure. Now the Soulbind together. Gabby is already spinning himself away. Paparazzi is killing Tims in the back line. They'll go Fountain if they want to. This game's over. It really is over. VG, playing your flag. You own TNC's home. Tims is going to do the best he can. TNC will fight to the bitter end. The VG Gaming now going for the Megas. Edict burns through all the buildings. Gabby moves forward, looking for some damage to burn off what matter. No, he's going to burn off life instead. Perched up. Now the rock will drop. They just want to control the Juggernaut. He'll still get the Omni Slash off, however. But how much damage is this really doing? They're so tanky and split across the fight. That's GG. 4 heroes gone. VG Gaming will advance to the semi-finals to have a date with an all LGD VG China semi-final 1. It still looked a little shaky, Cinderin. VG Gaming weren't absolutely perfect, but they still take the victory.
Yeah, this last game, though, was honestly really clean. They got last pick rooted. They adapted correctly. I'm like putting Centaur mid is not a genius move, but the way they played their side lanes mainly.
Yeah.
Yang had an outstanding performance mid. Their top lane, the Warlock, Medusa, they bided their time. They didn't panic. They weren't like, we need help, we need help, we need help, come top Shadow Demon. Instead, they identify, okay, we're going to lose our lane, but we're going to win the bottom lane really hard, and we're doing well in mid for Yang. And what's going to end up happening is, well, if they stay 3 heroes top, they're going to get out leveled. And when it comes to making moves, look at their picks. Centaur's or Shaker's losing his lane horribly, so he's not going to make moves. And the Tiny and Grimstroke are in the tri lane. They will not have levels. So you reach this point 10 minutes in where VG Gaming have 2 level 7 supports and the TNC supports are level 5, and there's just almost nothing to do on the map.
Beautiful play, the winner. VG Gaming a 2-1.
Yes, congratulations indeed to VG Gaming. Was it ever in any doubt? Maybe, maybe not, who knows. But they are victorious and they do go through to a semi-final upper bracket in an all-Chinese matchup against PSG LGD. Back with our various sets of men. Grant and Neil, we'll start with you guys, really, because that kind of reverted back to TNC type a little bit. The first 2 games were great, and then the third one was a bit more like they were last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely felt that way. And I think the biggest thing is Vici, like what they did, they sent a carry Leshrac down bottom. They just sacrificed Ori up top lane. And then, you know, middle lane. I mean, without that double stout shield, I was like, will they actually do it? And they just put Centaur middle. And TNC just didn't know how to react. They're like, oh, at least we're beating this Medusa. But then after the laning phase, they just crumbled.
Yeah.
And that being said, after seeing the LGD performance and how they're moving through the upper bracket and seeing the Vici performance, if I had to choose a Chinese frontrunner, I'm leaning towards LGD because that series against TNC was neck and neck, sure, but even then, even though Vici won, I just wasn't that confident in them.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating match. I can't wait to see that semi-final. But let's wrap up on this one. We're going to have a look at the statistics in the game. Dendy, what did you make of that? That was a bit different.